Hey, welcome back, everybody, to part two of Delphi. Is it over finally? Or is it? Who knows? Let's finish this up tonight. Mikey's going to be joining me. Hopefully, we'll see Mom in here as well with us. Thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you guys have a great night. Please hit the like button as you come through the door. Share this out, and let's get this show on the road. All right. Welcome back. What's up, brother? Welcome back again. Thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate you.
How are you?
About as good as I was about 15 minutes ago. Same. Thank you for asking.
Holy cow! I felt like I just got done reading a book.
Yeah, that was crazy. It's a lot. Those hearings, when they do that, yesterday's hearing was glorious. In and out, 10, 15 minutes, we're done. I love it. What we just went through, there's a lot. It's a whole lot. It'll make your, feels like somebody takes your brain and wrings it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when you're trying to take it all in. And
That's why I take notes always, because I know I'll miss something. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys for jumping back in here with us for our third show of the day. Part two of Delphi. Is it finally over or is it? So much new stuff has popped out. So much wild stuff. Mikey sent me some documentation stuff. Kelly Kell sent me some documents yesterday. We got some other shows to look at as well. We watched some stuff yesterday. Keep up. There's so much going on with this right now, guys. So much stuff. So let's see who we got with us joining us tonight. Kelly Dean, welcome. Nice to see a new face. Shampoo 1966. Great to have you here. Welcome back, Peggy Breidenbach. Of course, the last 24. Mikey's up here with me. Welcome, Phil. Phil, good to see you tonight. Again, thank you for being here. And welcome to the Discord, Phil. We got you in the Discord now. Thank the Lord. Thank you, Mama Bear. Miss Stormy, the dial-up dreamers in the house again. Good to see you, Stormy. Thank you for joining us. Nancy Drew, welcome back to you. Good to see you again tonight. Brutally honest, welcome back. Steven, welcome back. Great to see you all back in the house. 15 beautiful peeps here with 10 likes, guys. Let's make it match. Share it out. Let's get this thing a rolling. And that is very true, guys. Everyone's thoughts, theories, and opinions are so very important. We appreciate everyone's voice. Make sure that you respect and appreciate everybody else's voices too, folks. Thank you. Miss Peggy. Good to see you. Oh, I already said it. Okay. Kelly Dean, a new face in the house. Good to see you, Kelly. Let's see. Come on in, guys. Share this out if you would. What did you miss last show? You missed me, Phil. Wait, which your last show? The last one we just did 10 minutes ago or the one from yesterday last show? Demon Dog, welcome back to you. Good to see you. Come on in, everybody. Please and thank you. Please make sure to hit that like button, guys. Please, please, please. I'll be back. I got the I. What is the I-4 hearing? I just ran the Idaho 4 hearing. And you were in there. What are you talking about, Phil? Mikey, am I missing something?
I don't know. I don't think you are.
10 minutes ago. You didn't miss anything, Bill. You were in there. Wasn't Bill in there?
Oh no, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Oh, I thought you were in there. Okay, my apologies. It wasn't.
I think they were the first one, and
Maybe.
the second one kind of just ran into it.
Okay. Okay. Do what you got to do, Phil. It's okay, but I don't know, Phil. Sorry. Sorry for being confusing, Nancy Drew. I'm confused too. It's okay. I'm gonna cover a whole show, Phil, on the whole hearing from all when they're done with all the hearings after tomorrow. I'm gonna put a show together. We're just gonna run over the whole thing together. So everything that was covered. So there's that too. Again, guys, please share this out. Please, please share this out. Hit the like button when you come through the door, if you will. We can do better than this, guys. I thought you were in there, Phil. I'm sorry. It's okay. No worries. It's a long hearing, Phil, so it's up to you. Come on in, every sorry, I don't know what I just. Yeah, every barber, whatever that meant. Let me make sure. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to send the other noties out. Hold on. Um, nom. Good Lord. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm a little. in my head here, trying to figure this out. Figure this out. Sorry. All right. Where we is 19 peeps, 14 likes. We're getting there. Welcome back, Duty. Getting bored. I'm stay Stormy. Sorry, guys. I was having a bit of a technical thing trying to fix something. Sorry about that. Come on down, everybody. Mama Wisdom in the house. Let's see. We got. I'm just trying to wait to make sure I get everybody in here. 20 peeps, 15 likes. Let's try to make it match. Before I get rolling. There's Miss Sassy Cassie. SRB will be here shortly. I hope Josie comes back if she can. Mama Bear was taking the dog for a walk and accidentally blocked her. She fixed it. It's all said and should be fixed now. Yeah,
That's what I was wondering, if she bumped the screen on her phone.
That's why she asked me to take her off.
Gotcha. Well, that explains it.
I think she dropped her phone actually when she did it. I think that's what all that went down. So anyway, she fixed it, and I hope if Josie can, I hope she pops back in. She was cracking me up the last show. Mama's Bear said she should be good now. SRB sneaking snacks, huh? Uh-oh. No snacks allowed. 24 peeps in the house, 16 likes. Come on, go grab your coffee, your tea, whatever it may be. Come on in here and have a conversation with Mikey and me. See, y'all, I'm a poet, didn't know it. Oh, there she is. That was a quick shower. Damn. Glad you did it, though. I was starting to smell something, SRB. I'm just kidding. All right. There's Phil. Phil is good at entertaining. We're almost there, guys. We're about to start. Brandy B, welcome back. Good to see you. Dooba 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 doo. I don't know where she. Well, Mama Bear accidentally blocked her, Cassie, when she was trying to walk the dog. We fixed it, and that's why I'm trying to. I hope she comes back in here. I'm trying to see if she can. Mama Bear wanted to make sure she could. She apologized, of course. That dog dragged her all over the place. That's why she had asked me if I could take her off the panel because she couldn't get to it to do it. So,
Didn't she break something over that dog?
a couple times.
Wasn't she in a boot or some shit for a while?
Yes, her ankle, her foot, the top of her foot. Sorry. Anyway, and she, the dog walks her. She don't walk the dog. That dog drags her everywhere. It's sad. I feel so bad for her. And she's constantly like, okay, time to go walk, because the dog won't leave her alone ever. When he wants to go, he wants to go. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm like, you better like put your foot down with that dog and like let him know who the boss is. She's like, okay,
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, sure. She's not very she's very soft when it comes to stuff with the dogs and the cats and the kids. Yes, Miss Sherry has a pet horse. She walks her horse daily, or her horse walks her. Sorry. She's on vacation far away. Where'd she go? Cass. Dial up dreamer, welcome back. There's Mom. Is that Mom? Yes. Come on, Mom. Grab that link and jump up here with us. Miss Tandy, welcome back. Good to see you, dear. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of this Delphi disaster. Get doggy downers. I think she needs them. Or either that, I told her that, or get the dog fixed or whatever. He's hyper as hell.
Oh, it's still not fixed yet?
The dog, I don't think so. No, he's too young still, I think. He's still a baby. What's up, Miss Tandy? Good to see you, dear. Mana. For the love of Dago, you have to know the song. What song are you talking about, Cass? Do. Mana. My wife is painting the wall. Thank you for telling me, Walt. Welcome, sir. Neil Homestead, welcome back, brother. Good to see you. This is why I waited, guys. I wanted to wait to make sure everybody come in. Welcome back, Virginia. Guess you guys get a triple play of me today. Do. Manum. I don't want to be your love tonight. The Outfield, yes. I know the song. I think that's how it goes. I don't want to lose your love. Yeah, that's it. I don't want to lose your love tonight. Right. Sounds like a plan, bro. Let me know what you find. Not this time. You should be helping your wife paint the wall, Walt. Yes, that was the Muppets thing. Kelly, good catch. Oh, so. Wait. We're missing somebody. She don't get to miss this. Go tell Molly to get her ass in here, Mikey.
Yeah, I hadn't seen her all day.
I saw her earlier for like a minute.
So. I don't know what's going on, huh?
My ADD just hot the done. Oh, I got it too, Kelly. I understand. Bear with me. Give me a minute. We're about to be there. Wait, what was the last thing you said, Mike?
Oh shit, I don't know. Something about Molly or something.
Okay. All right, guys. 34 peeps in the house, 24 likes, 10 more, and we will match it up. It's about to get this thing a rolling. Got some other things to look at. Dial-up dream. Doug's hanging in there. How are your pups? Oh, okay. Sorry. Some more stuff to look at. Video. There's Tomboy. What's happening, girly girl? Good to see you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Hell, I didn't even cover certain other things I want to cover. That's tomorrow, I guess, or the day after. I'm talking to myself, guys. Sorry. The luscious Miss T. Uh-oh. There's the mom. Welcome back, Mom and Hero.
Hello.
I love it. Thank you for joining us again.
My
Hope
pleasure.
I'm sure this will be easier and better than the last one because I know where you were at with that one. So
Which one? The last show or
the Koberger
last
show, the
Oh.
Koberger hearing.
bless that judge's heart? I wanted to DoorDash him some coffee, but I just was afraid that Ann Taylor would seize the cup.
He did yesterday. Wait. What is today, guys? Thursday. He did Wednesday. He did Tuesday, today, and tomorrow. And I don't know. They were in closed hearings since like 9 o'clock this morning. That hearing was closed all day, and then they did this one too. He was there all day today.
It was a
So
rough ass day.
yeah, no wonder he was tired. Like that's too much. I think they need to break this down for them so that they can focus on things good. CZ, welcome back to you. Yes. And please don't ever, if I put a correction in there, especially to you, Mom, don't ever think I'm trying to be disrespectful to you. I hope you don't. I'm
Who
just trying to-
debunked that? Was that like a law enforcement debunk or was that a YouTuber?
It was something that they had put out. No, it wasn't a YouTuber. I believe me, I wouldn't go there. It was something that there was two things that had been debunked that were talked about. One was that they had talked about him cleaning his car at his parents' house. They said it never happened. And then the other one was oh Jesus. I can't remember. It was in there that was talked about, but there was a whole bunch of shit that was rumored that had come out that they had shut down. Bullshit stuff. So
The gloves and shit
Oh.
too.
but that's why I asked you the second part of that question, Mom. The dude had how many weeks after the murders before he went to his parents' house anyway and got arrested that he could have went in and cleaned the vehicle. Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was just going on
There's
the
that.
fact that everybody's
Yeah.
different, but like Saturdays, it's routine. Like Saturday is routine. Once I get up, have 15 cups of coffee, get moving around. After about 2 hours, we take the cars and we clean them. And that's just, so I know certain, people have routines that they do certain things, you know what I'm saying? So just looking at his personality and what we have been able to look at of his personality, and my personal opinion, the reason they didn't find anything in that car was because he cleaned the damn thing.
And he
Or
very
he
well
had a suit on. Like I said, one of those, what are they called? One of those paper.
the
Oh,
I
you
know
know
what
what
you're
I'm
talking
talking
about. Yeah, we used to wear them for. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Starts with a T.
I keep wanting to say Tanex. That's not what it is.
Tyvek or something.
Tyvek.
Yeah.
there you go.
got it.
There you go. One of those suits
and
with the booties. And
that's that. Yeah, those
and
are
all
all
the
very
things.
well possible. Welcome, Peaky. Welcome back. Yeah, the Tyvek suit is possible. He could have cleaned the car. Yes, I just struggle with their. Nobody, in my opinion, is that perfect that they will get every single piece of everything and nothing would show up. And they hit his car 3 times. They tore that car apart, cleaned it 3 times, checked it 3 times. I'm sorry, and that's one of the things that has bothered me about this. Now, that whole first half of what she talked about, Ann Taylor that was so dumb, and I was
Dude.
just sitting there like, oh, for God's sakes, come on.
She makes me crazy. Like
And
she
then-
literally makes me crazy.
I know,
How
I
can
could
you
tell.
be that high paid of a defense lawyer and not have your shit together, ma'am?
Well, I don't understand, especially in the very beginning. How did you not know what the hell you were going over today? See, that bugs me a little bit. That was a red flag
that's
right
what
away.
I'm saying. Is like completely didn't. I swear, I'm gonna make a shirt or a coffee cup or something that says "Policy is not law, ma'am."
Well, I mean, and listen, guys, I'm all about he's innocent until proven guilty. I know your feelings, Mom, and you know I love you and I respect everything you feel and think. I'm never going to challenge you. We just think differently on this one thing slightly, okay? And it's all 100% respect. I get you. You made a comment in the chat. You are 100% right. You could never be a defense attorney because you automatically feel for who you believe is the suspect in any case when the victims are involved, period. So, and I get that.
I'm
That's
there
one
for
of the
the
things.
victims. Like, and
Right,
if
no.
law enforcement, if they fuck this up, pardon my French YouTube, if they fuck this up and arrested the wrong man and kept him in prison, just like I went back to Brandon Dassey and the
Yeah.
Avery case, then I believe they should all be fired, in my opinion. They should all be
Agreed.
fired, and the family should sue every person that's name is on any report that had anything to do with this case. And that's my
Yep.
strongest opinion from the top to the bottom. And that's
Right.
exactly how I feel about it.
And
Because
that's
those families have been through enough between social media, national media, getting, which
Too
these
much.
families sadly go through this. No matter, once it's deemed a high profile case, get ready for the color of underwear you had on in third grade picture day to be talked about.
That's right. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. Like I said, I hope that they can prove Brian did this for everything that's happened, for everything the families have had to endure. Because if it isn't Brian and they find that it's not, I can't even imagine thinking what these families have to go through now on a secondary side to this. Because I don't see them doing another investigation on this unless they find criminal corruption per se within somehow. Okay, which I don't see that happening. Mistakes, yes. And that's one thing that Nan's doing that is not, I'm not fond of, is she keeps throwing this huge secret thing out, this secret thing. Think that your words aren't gonna make a difference, hun. Do it. Say it what it is. And yes, I have issues with some of the stuff she brought up. The things that Dylan said and things that weren't put in the PCA. I get all that, guys. And like Sherry said, it'd be a book if they put it all in the PCA. That's right. But some of those things I think are kind of important and they should have been seen by the magistrate per se. That part I agree with to an extent. It still does not eliminate probable cause that was already there. The fact that there was this man's DNA found on the sheath. Her argument was how did they get that there? How did she set it to? How did the sheath get there? She doesn't trust that, blah, blah, blah. She's doing her job. I get that. That's what it is. I think she's reaching in some senses, and it makes me wonder, do you really know what you're doing with this case, Ann? And I said that earlier. Can you handle this? If you can't, you need to step forward right now and say that you can't and give this man an attorney that can and do your job, prove that he didn't do it if he didn't. But if he did, prosecute this effort to the full extent of the law, please. And that's where I'm at with this too. The families, this should be done already, folks. But it's a death penalty case. I get that. But they've been through hell and back 3 times over. It's enough already. Welcome, Dandy. Good to see you. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, Mom. And I do truly understand your side of things completely. Oh, Walt, I don't even think twice about Enan Harsh anymore, bro. I don't. I think Enan was bored and tried to inject himself, and that was that, in my opinion. I don't think he's smart enough to do what happened over there, truly. So,
no. Somebody looking for 5 minutes of fame, and that's my personal opinion.
Me too. We absolutely agree on that. He's too goofy and just not. He was an idiot. That's all I'm just saying. I don't think. And if we're wrong, then we're wrong. But I don't see it. Sorry. Great to have you here, Dandy. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
We follow true crime. This is what we do. In the past 2 years, that wasn't a familial, which meaning a family member. How many of these cases have we seen in the area since Kohberger's been arrested?
In Idaho?
Meet this MO. Within a 3-state range.
Well, there is one that we need to look at that they're trying to say now. I don't know if you saw that, Mom. There was about a home invasion that they're trying to say that might match up with this as the first thing he did. That I know of, but
yeah, I've heard about the home invasion. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about The same MO.
like that. There hasn't been any other that I've seen
Mhm.
as bad as that, I should say. There's been some stuff that's happened, but not. That's the worst thing I've ever seen, truly. So, and that's not just there; it's anywhere.
I don't know if
But
she's in here, Kelly, but Doodle's former law enforcement.
yeah, Doodlebug is former law enforcement. We had a couple other people that were former PIs in here, I believe. I don't know if they're in here still or not.
Green Eyed is a PI.
Yeah, Green Eye is a PI, and I don't care what Phil says. Phil knows something and has done something because Phil has too many pieces of information that are too close to being perfect, in my opinion, to know these things. Miss Sherry worked in the court system. Wisdom speaks. Mom's got her strawberry candy. I can hear it.
Man, I just had to go to the Dollar General and re-up.
Are those the ones with the soft center?
Yes.
I
They're
love those.
divine.
Yep. I wish they could make those root sugar free because I love those myself.
They're so good.
Kelly said, I'm looking for BK to end up exonerated and the exploration of covert DNA unlawful apprehension. I respect it. Like I said, there's a lot of weird things with this one, and it's mainly because of, I think, a botched investigation in the very beginning. That's where I think all this fell into play. And then, of course, the rumor mill. That went crazy. You're welcome, Kelly. And
Wisdom.
I was just getting ready to pull that up. That's hilarious. There's Miss Piggy. Phil is slick, being a clerk of court assistant. I'm on to you. That's great, Sherry. I love it. All right, guys. I think we got 40 peeps in here. Make sure you hit that like button, guys. And Peaky, welcome back. Good to see you.
Ooh,
Oh,
Walt,
God.
that would be awesome.
No, Mom. Walt is in love with the head lead detective in the Leilani Simon case.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
But
that's
she's a
all.
very intelligent person.
She is, but that ain't what he's looking at. He ain't talking about her brain.
But it would distract Walt from being a turd in chat. He would be
All he
all
would
good.
do is, yeah, but who's going to wipe the
Control.
drool up? Come on. I'm not doing it. I ain't wiping up Walt's drool. Sorry. Just saying.
His wife's painting. She's got drop claws already down.
There you go. Then she can handle it.
Well, see, the old man heard Dago say that Walt's wife was painting the walls, and he started cracking up because he wasn't thinking like paintbrush painting the walls.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was thinking like one of those trips to Taco Bell kind of painting the walls.
That's hilarious.
Oh. I was going someplace else.
That is too funny. All right. If it chooses to load, hold on a minute.
Dandy.
Niles Buckman, it's been a minute, sir. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us, sir. Hope you're having a great day. Hang on, y'all. My computer's doing goofy things again. Cash Patel will find BK and Richard Allen exonerated due to ABC agencies and crap police work. Well, interesting. I welcome Sherry N. Thank you for that info or piece of information, Kelly. I appreciate you. I haven't seen Kel all day. Hold on, guys. I'm having a tech issue.
We need the Jeopardy music soundbite. Do do do.
You know what's so funny? As I thought that last night before I went to bed. Like no shit. Yeah. No, I got something I'm gonna put together.
What'd you say, Mike?
The Jeopardy tune.
I would love to have that uploaded here so I could use it.
I was gonna do something with the on Delphi with the Daily Double, but I was gonna turn something up. But I needed the music though. Honestly.
Yes. Oh my God. Why is my computer doing this again? Hold on, guys. And hear it. Okay, maybe it's gonna work now. It's got like I don't know. I know what Sherry's gonna say. Clean your cache. That's not all that it is, but hold on. Come on, come on. Oh, I agree, Kelly.
That's considered laundering.
Yes, I do agree. I do agree, Kelly. The judicial system definitely needs to be. It needs to be worked over 100%.
So this is totally off subject, but I'm super excited and I want to share with you guys. So Mr. Steve, True Crime Web, a lot of you guys may know Mr. Steve. He's a freaking rock star. I've known him for 4 years now.
Yes.
And the last time we got together, we got kicked out of a Dunkin' Donuts. It was quite hilarious.
Oh.
He is going to be here this weekend, and we are going to sit down and have coffee and discuss Jaden's case. He was able to look over all the evidence that I sent him, and I'm super excited about getting some help for Jolene.
That's awesome. That is absolutely amazing awesome.
And then I reached out to some of my law enforcement people that are in the backgrounds, and I've got some patches and badges and stuff on the way for Jaden.
Okay.
And Doodle, being the awesome human being she is also putting some stuff together for him. So we'll be able to send her a nice package from our communities.
Yes, Jaden wanted to be a police officer. That was his whole dream, folks. So that's amazing to me.
Totally off subject, but I'm excited and I wanted to share with you.
No, absolutely. Uh-oh, what's this? Let's see. Could you guys hear it?
Nope.
Some the bitch. Let me try this real fast then. Hold on. All right, now let me know if you hear it.
Oh, that's kick ass.
That's great.
Okay. Very cool. I love it. All right, now back to where we was. Not that one. Not that one. There we go. Okay. That wasn't hard either. I'm going to see if I can upload that into my system in the other way, and we'll be good. Anyway, moving on to what we're supposed to be doing. Thank you guys all for being here. All 40 of you. You guys are so very much appreciated.
I came in and derailed the panel as usual.
No, it's okay. Believe me, it's okay. We love it, Mom. So we're going to start off with this, and then we're going to jump to some different documents Mikey brought in. Kelly Cal brought some stuff in it as well, document-wise. Oh, my God.
I see that thing Vinny did yesterday, too.
What'd you say, Mom?
Yeah, I think this is going to be part of it.
The thing that Vinny did.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't even watched it yet.
What was that? The confession thing?
Yeah, Vinny went over the docs.
Yeah, this is probably going to touch on that exact same thing.
Perfect.
Yep.
I like Vinny.
Yes, me too. Big Vinny fan. Okay, let's start here. My computer is doing some weird things, so please bear with me. That's why we're taking so long tonight. I'll buy transparency for 1,000, Alex. Yes, I'm right there with you, Dandy. 100%, Dandy. All right, let's do this. Ashley, don't mind her. I'm not a fan, but hey, it is what it is. Let me know if you can hear it okay, YouTube, by the way.
Lawyers say is true. Is it enough?
Yep.
And for that, I turn to Lee Wallace, a trial lawyer with 30 years of experience in assuming that everything Richard Allen's lawyers say is true. Is it enough? And for that, I turn to Lee Wallace, a trial lawyer with 30 years of experience in trials, who's known to her thousands of YouTube fans as Lawyer Lee. Okay, Lawyer Lee, your hot take on this. It's a motion to correct errors as opposed to a motion to dismiss. Is it just semantics, or is there some significance to that?
Well, typically a motion to correct errors isn't exactly where you would expect to see these arguments. It's typically sort of used to when there's brand new evidence it's suddenly found. In this case, this is not brand new evidence. They've made their best argument that it's new, that it's different, that it's come about with facts that came out at trial that they could not have known in advance. But it doesn't exactly fit what you would normally see in a motion to correct error.
So what's the most egregious of the 4-point bulletins, so to speak? Is it the confession? Is it the van timeline? Is it the pretrial custody? Like, what are you seeing as the most problematic, say, for the prosecution?
I think two of them are really important. They all matter. It's not that these aren't very, very important. It's just a question of, are they going to get relief right here in this particular motion? Or is it just something that tells us what might happen down the line? And the two that really, really matter are Brad Weber and the white van, because the change in the timeline really makes a big difference. The prosecution said that Liddy's phone last moved, forever stopped moving at 2:32. It was underneath a shoe, underneath Abby's body. And so that marks the time at which the girls were in the final location where they were going to be killed. If there was no white van to be seen by Richard Allen, it really messes up the prosecution timeline. And then when it comes to Ron Logan's confession, the confession, the reason that it's mentioned in this motion is because for the first time at trial, one of the expert witnesses called it said instead of two different weapons, which had long been relied on by the defense to say, hey, there was more than one person who actually committed this murder. This was a group effort. But the expert said, no, I'm convinced it's only one, and it was box cutters. And I can tell from the marks on one of the girls that it was the rubber handle of box cutters, and that those box cutters then were actually mentioned by Ron Logan in his confession. And the defense is saying we couldn't have put those together because we were surprised when Dr. Kaur, the expert, mentioned this at trial.
I will be fascinated to see how this plays out.
Thanks for watching. Go to JoinNN.
Lawyer Lee is awesome. I love her. I just love the way she approaches things and the things. She's got some great stuff with this case. I agree with Dandy on that. And what she just said there was on point too.
It's kind of confusing though, and what she just said about just the box cutter is, if you look at what the medical examiner put out, that there was, like we had said on yesterday, that the wounds or whatever, some looked like they were cut with serrated and others weren't.
Right.
So
which incites the possibility of more than one weapon. So yeah.
She's touched on it in a different way before, and but
right, absolutely. Hang on, guys. I don't know why everything is like not wanting to load. My apologies.
You know what I find here sometimes too is, like, at this time of night, like, everybody's freaking using the internet, so like your speed goes down.
It seems like it definitely feels like it's not the speed.
Yeah.
It's like when I try to click on something, it's got a huge delay on it, and then if it even lets me open it up, so I have to keep resetting YouTube. Sorry. Okay, hold on.
Jesus, this live chat just got me again.
Is it loading?
Huh?
Are you guys?
Oh,
Are you?
no, I was in the wrong crap.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So the motion to vacate was, I guess, presented finally. Oh, yeah, hold on. For those of you that didn't see this, they put the motion in Monday night. They said it was very late. Mikey, we talked about this. I think it was like 11 o'clock Monday night. Okay,
Yeah.
like waited to the very last minute.
Reports did not happen. A second issue is about Allen's safekeeping order.
Good God, guys, I'm sorry.
Allen was arrested on October 26, 2020.
Hold on. This is so irritating. Jumping forward, all that stuff. So bear with it. I'm good. Hold on.
He broke it.
In a motion filed late Monday night, all three attorneys for Richard Allen say his conviction should be vacated due to 4 major errors about the case. Madison Kopp has the latest on that motion.
I'm holding the 24-page motion that was filed by Richard Allen's attorneys late Monday night. And inside, it includes new bombshell information. One of the biggest pieces from the motion is reported confessions from an inmate at Newcastle Correctional Facility. An inmate wrote notes claiming Ron Logan allegedly confessed to the murders and mentioned using a box cutter to do it. Abigail Williams and Liberty German's bodies were found on Logan's property in Delphi in February of 2017. When Allen confessed, he said he shot the girls in the back, which according to autopsy reports did not happen. A second issue is about Allen's safekeeping order. Allen was arrested on October 26, 2022, and was booked into Carroll County Jail under a false name. Court documents say Allen's wife hired an attorney after being arrested, who was not present when Allen was charged with murder. Allen was then transferred to White County Jail without a safekeeping order. The defense argues that this transfer was unlawful and that Allen's right to legal representation was violated. They say that his attorney was not notified about the proceedings, which deprived him of the right to be represented. A third issue addresses the testimony of Brad Weber, whose van was present after the murders of the girls. The defense attorneys argue that prosecutors.
Now I'm gonna tell you guys something. Between the new confession that has come out from Logan, the white van, Brad Weber, the property issues, this is where I think the appeal is this is what's gonna push that appeal. Because this is something that I think Tomboy brought it up a while back and said that they need to look at Weber again. I kind of agree with
I
that.
got something on that van though. I don't know what they say it is. I don't know if that's what it is.
And Richard Allen saw the van. That's a big deal at this point. So I absolutely, I believe that those topics right there are going to be what probably could push that appeal through, truly. Well, at least get him a new trial, okay? And I think he does. I said yesterday, I think he needs a new trial. I'm going to say that the defense team, if they were to take him on, they'd probably do it again for him, pro bono, with a new judge, new venue, all of it, I think. And I think it would change things in a massive, massive way. The jury would hear a lot of things they didn't hear last time. And I think it's going to change some things up with all this stuff that's popped up that, like we talked about yesterday, all these things were withheld, and like Mom said, going all the way back to, Mom said yesterday, for those of you that weren't in here, going all the way back to 2017, the very beginning of this situation, everything that was found, that was seen, that was taken in as evidence, so on and so forth, was never brought up in the trial. That makes no sense, guys. None of it makes any sense. And it's important stuff. There's things about that stuff. Okay, considering the fact that we have a confession from Ron Logan, We have this happened on Ron Logan's property. There was animal hair found relating to Ron Logan. Shit, what else? Ron Logan lied about his alibi. What else was there, Mom, with Ron Logan that was like stood out as big issues?
The fact that he did a news interview and was wearing exactly the same description of clothing
Yes,
as
that's
Bridget. I
it.
mean, and that's just my opinion, my
Big
humble
one.
opinion.
Big one. Mm-hmm.
I grabbed
Then there
something
was
last
the
night I'm
interview.
gonna share with you.
What's that, Mom?
I grabbed something last night along those lines that I wanted to share with you.
Okay, cool.
Got to
Good.
send it.
Yes.
It's not mine.
And-
I didn't make it. I will not take credit for it, but I don't remember where I grabbed it from. So
Oh, no. It's okay. Either way. And not to mention, Ron Logan had a girlfriend that they did an interview with that was petrified of this man. Started crying during the interview about how scared she was with him and said flat out, I believe that he did this, period. So that should have been taken into account, all of that stuff, in my opinion.
that was
And
the
man-
CBS Brian Enton special mini doc, wasn't it? That
I
she
think
came
so.
on and was like, "Oh man, that was like I was glued to my laptop
Yep.
because
I
we don't have that
plan on
app on
showing
the
that.
TV."
Oh, absolutely. I plan on showing some of that too, because I want people. A lot of people didn't see that interview with her and have no idea what the hell anybody's talking about when they bring it up. It it really had me going, what? She was like naming some things that you just. I mean, this dude hit her in the head with a hammer. Okay, this is his girlfriend, and like, that's crazy. I'm sorry, but that's crazy. That says to me that this man is can do. It's possible he can do a lot of different things. He's gone now, but yeah, that's just something else I was going to bring up. Actually, I had that. I was trying to find it earlier, SRB, so I can show it to you guys. So, Sherry said absolutely without Judge Gall, he has to have a new judge, or he will be railroaded all over again. A lot of people, I just feel at this point, because of how everything went with the, I'm not saying that Judge Gall. I don't want to put her out there and say that she's corrupt. I'm not going to say that, she's part of the KKK or something stupid like that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's so many things she did within this case that don't make any sense. Okay. Is there reasons for it? I'm sure there is. I don't know what they are. And that's what makes it so hard to understand. Okay. So that's all I'm trying to say. Oh yeah, absolutely, Danny. That was the thing. She had proof of going to the hospital, everything. That's why I wanted to show you guys that interview. I talked about it yesterday. I started looking for it, so I wanted to show it to you today on this.
It's a CBS. It was a CBS app. I think it was CBS. Shit, was it CBS?
There was one that was that way, but there's multiple versions of it I found at one point. Because I ain't gonna play nothing CBS in here. I just won't do it. But yeah, actually, absolutely. So let me get through this and we'll go digging into that stuff too. But I appreciate all you guys being here for this, because
yeah. And I think one thing, before I forget this, it was brought up last night if Logan was in the same prison as Richard.
Yeah, that was asked.
Yeah, it's different. He was over in by Indianapolis.
Okay, right. And I knew it was at different times anyway, but
yeah.
Still, either way, there's too many things pointing at Logan. And again, I'm not saying that Richard Allen wasn't involved at all, but a lot of people, including certain attorneys, don't believe he was at all. Just saying he could have been involved, but and again, I've repeated this 1,000 times. I'm going to say it again. I can't get out of my head. Indiana State Police, they said it. They believe that more than one person is involved in this. I can't let that go, folks. That's too important to me. And again, Sherry said yesterday, if there was one person doing this, what are the odds that one of the girls could have got away? They're pretty high. Okay.
Yeah.
Think about that for a minute. And it makes you wonder.
Especially if this gun wasn't used, it's like, what he was trying to hold off two girls and with a box cutter and, apparently still had a gun and
to do the things. Right. Yeah. to do the things that were done, Mikey, to the girls with the knife, the neck, the wounds and stuff like that. You can't do that to one and not think the other one. I mean, no, it doesn't make sense.
There's too many stars that aligned on that one.
Right. Agreed. Well, here's what's up, Phil, with that though. Luckily, if this goes to appellate court, Gall will not be that judge. They'll have an appellate judge, completely different. Thank God. But I'm just saying, if he gets a new trial, a new trial. I think there is the opportunity. I think they would have a different judge if it was a brand new, completely different trial after the fact.
Probably, even just like how they're moving Brian,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's true.
But
so anyway, sorry, I'll shut up for a minute so I can get this done. Sorry, guys. And when I start talking about this, I got to get it out. I can't help myself because this drives me nuts.
Prosecutor should have corrected false evidence regarding the van's timing, which they said could have affected the outcome of the trial. They presented surveillance footage showing the van in the area at 2:44 p.m., 14 minutes later than what the prosecution had said. Lastly, forensic cell phone evidence questions arose regarding whether dirt or
That's another thing too. 14 minutes. That's a lot of time. That's a huge amount of time. People say, "Oh, it's only 15 minutes." It doesn't make a difference to me, folks. Things can happen in a 14-minute period of time that you have no idea. That's a big difference to me. So
14 minutes for what? Sorry.
The timeline difference with the van and all that stuff. That stuff. So yeah.
water could have suggested that headphones were plugged into the phone. A forensics expert on the defense team argued that there was no evidence of water or dirt damage to support the state's claims. Judge Gall will take this motion under review and will decide if Allen should have his convictions vacated, have a retrial, or to throw out the motion altogether. Reporting in West Lafayette, I'm Madison Kopp.
So there's that. That stuff goes in front of Judge Gall. I don't believe that she's going to let it happen. Okay. Now, I don't know as far as if the appeal, once the appeal happens, or once the appeal goes, it'll go through an appellate court, I believe, and that's a different situation. But welcome, Hummingbird. Good to see you. Hold on. I do not know what's going on here. Bear with me, guys. This is pissing me off tonight. Everything is delayed for some reason, and it's pissing me off. Sorry. Right, Bill. Thank you. What is going on? All right, give me a minute here. I think I found. Okay, I think I got a version of it, a piece of it. I'm trying to find the full interview, but this is at least one of them. Okay. Here we go, guys.
Addiction.
And you know, like Mom said, when they did that interview with Ron and he was wearing
Yeah.
the same clothes, guys, every
Mhm.
time I think about that interview and look at Bridge Guy, I see it. I can see that being him. I truly can.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, Ron Logan is definitely taller than Richard Allen.
Yeah.
That's the issue I've always had with Bridge Guy. Richard Allen's just a little dude. Okay.
I seen a side by side someplace last night with the bridge guy thing and then a homie, and yeah, it's pretty identical, bud.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Ron,
find this shit.
I'm
right
telling
here.
you guys. I'm
Everything.
telling you. That is not Richard Allen. It is not
Yeah.
Richard Allen. And Richard Allen, here's the other thing. If we're to go with that's Richard Allen's voice saying down the hill, Richard Allen's hot voice is kind of like mine. It's a higher pitched voice. Logan has that deeper voice. They don't even sound the same, you guys. There's the other problem I had with this too. So just saying, there's too many things that I cannot sit with this. That's all I'm saying.
Call the tip line.
Joining me now, News Nation senior national correspondent Brian Enton. So Connie Dillman seems so confident about this. Like, what else makes her think that it's her ex-boyfriend who's the killer?
Yeah, this was a big moment tonight, actually. We've never heard from Connie Dillman before. This is all brand new. So this is something we've never heard before. And let's also not forget in all this that Ron Logan is dead, by the way, for people who are following along. He died of COVID. But she basically says that he is a bad man, that he is a violent man, that she thinks that he did it, that he was violent with her in the past. And as you heard in that clip, that when she heard that voice, she thought right away that it was Ron Logan. Listen to a little more of what she said for the first time tonight about what kind of man this is.
Anybody that could provoke that type of a reaction from somebody is not a good person, folks. Just
Yeah.
there's that right out of the gate. Okay. And it's been years since they've been together. You would think, you know, there's been time separate apart, so on and so forth. He's dead. She's still having reactions to this guy. That's bad. That's very bad.
It really is stunning to hear her tell that story for the first time. She's obviously very, very emotional. And again, she feels confident, Connie does, that the wrong guy may be locked up, which is pretty startling to think about.
Not only that, but Ron Logan had kind of a weird alibi. And from what I remember 7 years ago, it didn't really check out.
So weird. So he claimed to police that he was going to a town outside of Delphi to buy tropical fish and that he was with his cousin. But we later come to find out that when they looked into this, they talked to the cousin. The cousin didn't back that up. They were never able to clear that alibi, to figure out if it was true or not. And even to this day, it seems like he lied about where he went.
Pretty specific when you're mentioning tropical
Yeah.
fish, and easy to track that. But this is a small community, and they're not used to having double homicides, especially with kids. So, I mean, I've seen it happen. All right. So, what about the property? Like, they did look at his property. They actually did investigate, but I feel like it might have been a long lag.
They did, but it was a month after the murders. So think about it. A month has gone by. There's so much that could have been done out there at that property in that time. A month.
Month is a long time.
That was it. That was a lot of the problem, Tomboy's right. We all know you weren't allowed to mention anybody else's name, no other defenses, no nothing. She said nothing more than this. That's it. And that was the problem. There was no chance of anything else being brought up in this because she would not allow it. It's a problem.
Time for anything.
Right.
I mean, even the weather can take.
I mean, there were a lot of mistakes with this investigation, a lot of issues, and this just seems like it was another one.
But thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
Stop talking, Ashley. Good Lord. Thank you. Her voice drives me nuts, you guys. So, Mom, you think I can play this?
Don't see why not.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. If it
Gray Hughes reviewed it. That took a
okay,
lot
good.
to say.
Good. That's what we gonna do because this is important, guys. This has a lot
As-
of information.
As long as we commentate it, I mean, that's fair use. I can drop fair use and then I'll put this in back chat. I'll send it to you in Discord. You can put it in the description, but technically, as long as we commentate to it, it's fair use. It's from a streaming site, so
That's what I thought. And I do have a fair use tag ticker that I can run on the bottom. Real quick
and I'm
here.
gonna
Where's it
send
at?
you a description too.
There's that there.
Yeah.
Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. And I said it. Thank you very much for that, Mom.
So I mean, as long as it's commentated over, then
Yeah, I can even
I
maybe
mean-
slow it down at 1 point because
if we disappear, somebody start putting eyeballs in chat. That'd be great.
yeah, just let us wait for us. We'll come back. If it shuts down, just do that and we'll know, and then we'll wait and come back and we'll move on to something different. So
I know you can't use the nets of flicks because
no,
I had paid for the nets of flicks just so I could review Lori Vallow.
yep.
The, one that her oldest son spoke in, and they hit my ass within 30 seconds. So
yeah, Netflix is rough.
I was very upset about it because I wouldn't have paid for the stupid app.
No, agreed, 100%. I'm trying to see if it'll give me the settings to where I can. Hold up 1 minute. Let me get this right, though.
Somebody knows.
Yeah, I was going to say there should be a little wheel on the side of it.
It doesn't give me that option, though.
Check it. Let me see. Oh, that's just
Yep,
what it plays in. That sucks.
100%.
All you can do is try it, and
Yeah, that's all. We're gonna try it, guys, and we're gonna stop and talk about the stuff we're talking about. So, Miss Kimber, hello. It's okay. All right, and where'd that thing go, Mom?
where'd what
I
go?
got nothing. I got this scrolling on the bottom here. We're good to go.
Oh, I put it
Again.
in chat and I sent it to you in Discord.
Cool. We're good. But like I said, that streaming on the bottom there, ticker, same thing. So we're good. All right, here we go.
And I mean, by all means, as long as we're commentating over it, just stop it every once in a while and commentate. It should be okay.
It should. And if not, we'll figure it out. I tried to, Cap. There's no way to change the speed on it. I can't find it. And I have no idea how to block the logo.
You would have to put a layover, but you would have to put like a teeny tiny little layover. And what sucks about StreamYard is you can't, like with OBS, you can move it wherever you want it.
You can't do that here. I know. It sucks. We'll just try it out and see what happens, guys. Best we can do. All right, hold on.
Everybody out there knows who this person is.
Wait a minute.
Put music in the background. Go over
Yeah,
on your right hand
I was
side.
just thinking that.
Yep. I mean, it could be super low.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
All right.
I do that other times too.
I very rarely review anything, so it just came to me.
All right. You can barely hear it, and once I start talking, you won't hear it. All right. But here's the problem. Try this again. Present. It looks black on here. The screen's black. Is it,
Did you hit play?
If I knew something, I'd tell you.
Yes.
The police were
Oh, they've got the video blocked.
their neighbors, their brothers, their friends.
This person is from Delphi.
This is what the chat.
What if you share your whole screen? Does it still catch it? Like if you do an infinity share? Sorry, y'all.
Sorry guys, we're trying to make this work. 1 second. Hold on. Well, I'm sharing an entire screen. With the audio. Share.
Why? The suspicion and the paranoia, it just...
To help protect from HIV,
Oh.
I see an ad.
Prescription
Hold
medicine
on.
used to reduce the risk of HIV without daily PrEP pills.
That's
With
stupid
one
if it
shot
lets the
every
ad
other
play,
month,
but then
just 6 times a year. In studies,
it's
Apretude is proven superior to a daily PrEP pill in reducing the risk of
shoot,
HIV.
what's this called again, Mom?
Must be HIV negative to receive
I'll
Apretude.
send it to Molly.
Each injection. If
Molly,
you think
yeah,
you're exposed
that
to
takes too long.
HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. More HIV testing may be needed. Apretude does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. Practice safer sex to reduce your risk. Get Apretude as
Practice
scheduled.
safe sex,
Missing
y'all.
doses
That's the
increases
deal.
your
There you go.
HIV risk.
Sorry.
Don't take Apretude if allergic to it or taking.
Okay, so that comes up. Oh my god. Having playback issues.
See, that's the video right there.
Certain medicines
well,
that
you
may
can't see
interact.
my
Tell your
mouse.
doctor about your medical conditions, liver or kidney problems, and mental health. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, liver
Yeah,
problems,
hopefully,
and
let's see if
depression.
this lets
If these
me.
occur, get medical help right
Once
away.
the
The most common side effect is injection
ad is
site
over,
reaction.
if it'll stop.
Ask your doctor about long-acting Apretude
and PrEP without pills.
Save
Right,
at
Andy.
Apretude.com.
At least it's a good cause.
Paying for that old phone?
Doesn't even give you a minute to, or a second to skip it or anything.
You know, at Verizon, we'll pay off your phone, and you'll get iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence on us. Now with Genmoji. That's a value of up to $1,600. Only on Verizon.
When I started college, so many people warned me about credit cards.
Oh
They
my
just
God.
seemed really scary. When I needed a car, I realized that I needed to build credit, so I got the Chime
Pay
Credit
them
Builder
bills.
card. I could safely build credit without being afraid of fees or interest. And there was no credit check.
This
My
is
score
crazy.
went up over 60 points, and I bought my first car. As a busy college student, having a car is an absolute must. I feel like I could do anything. My next goal, a 700 credit score. Join me at Chime.com.
You leave your house and then you're dead in
Nope, it won't let me do it. I'll be damned.
Oh, that's so bastard.
I don't know, Molly, if you can change it up, maybe. I don't know. I doubt it, but
I can screen record it, but it's 85 minutes long, and I don't know how
yeah,
I'll send
it'll
it to
take
you.
forever. It'll take forever. It's not worth it. I'm sorry, everybody. Damn it. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this too, and I want you guys to see this for a reason. So give me a second here. We've all seen Bridge Guy. I don't. What 3 million times, right? We know what Bridge Guy is wearing.
Rid of
You
that
know what?
music, Jaco.
Can you hear it in the background?
Yes.
I'll shut it down. Sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I know it's aggravating and distracting. There. Okay. All right.
Up there in Carroll County and still distraught over the loss of two of their own.
In fact, Eyewitness News reporter Emily Longnecker tonight continues our team coverage in Delphi with how people there continue to cope with the loss of Abby and Libby. Emily?
John and Andrea, people here in Delphi.
The network that was running that was the CW network. So That's probably why.
Are cautious tonight about saying too much of anything. Many of them knew these two young girls and they know their families, and they are just finding it still very difficult to talk about what happened. On the outskirts of town, though, where police found the two teens' bodies, people are talking, sharing their disbelief and anger. Against the beauty of the sunshine and bright blue skies Wednesday, it was still hard for Ron Logan to believe the violence visited upon two young teens just out for a hike on a day off from school.
Who would have thought they'd let their children out to do?
Look what this guy is wearing. The hat's different. I could never go past this when I saw this.
Yeah, good point.
Mm-hmm.
Something special that day. Take a trip down and it turn out a disaster like this.
For 53 years, Logan's lived on the country road near the trail that leads to the Monon High Bridge.
People walk up and down with their children, and yeah, it's quite a nice little trail, and the bridge is real.
Never, though, has Logan seen anything like what he has this week. The search for an eventual discovery of the bodies of Libby German and Abby Williams.
The area that they were in is very hard to get to. I mean, you can't get there unless you walk there. I mean, so somebody would be walking with them or something.
Those are the same kind of thoughts Marvin Sandifer keeps mulling over. His daughter used to hike the same trail.
She said, I've seen a couple scruffy looking guys back in there, but they never bothered me. They went on their way.
Sandifer is anxious for investigators to identify a suspect.
I'm not really scared. I'm just worried that it would happen again.
That's why he hopes someone knows or saw something on that trail Monday and can lead investigators down the right path soon.
I hope they catch them tonight, and I hope they make them pay.
And with the release tonight of the picture of that unknown man seen walking on the trail Monday afternoon, people here are hoping investigators are that much closer to discovering who is responsible for taking these two young lives. John, Andrea.
All right. Thank you. Emily Longnecker in Delphi tonight.
And so again, I could never go past this, you guys. I've always struggled with this. Look at that. And you guys tell me I'm wrong, but tell me that's not the same damn jacket. Different hat, but look at the jacket. That's way too... I know lots of people own jackets like this, you guys, but that's just too much for me. I'm sorry.
It's got that other jacket that he had just on in that other video. That collar is huge. Like, that collar is huge.
Same thing. Thank you, Mike. That's what I'm saying. Thank you. See, that's what I'm saying.
Run that back real quick.
What yeah. Oh, hold on.
The end of that one we just watched.
Actually, I have there. Look, wait a minute. I think this is it. They'll show it. Oh, that's an animation. Now, see, that's different. But that other one he had on that day before. Oh, wait, is this? Just a minute. Oh, wait. I thought it was in here. I guess it's not. Okay, so I'll have to go backwards. And sorry, everybody. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let me back up. There it is, right there.
Yeah.
Tell me that ain't the same damn thing, guys. Folks, look at the collar. How big? Mikey's right. Look at the collar.
Just seems like it's large at the front there, how it flops open.
It's this, to me, it's the same damn jacket.
Yeah. Whenever you get a minute, I did put 2 side-by-side comparisons in your Discord. They're wearing different clothes, but
yeah, but you know what this shows too is Logan has the same, what I would call like lean when he walks.
yeah.
Look,
Mhm.
look at this. You see how that he's kind of got a lean here, and
Yeah.
he's kind of got a little bit of it here, guys, with the head thing. Look, different hats. Yes, I know, but tell me that that's not him. How about that, SRB? Like I said, different jacket, but look at his face, and you see, I'm telling you, Mom. Any comment, Mom?
I sent you a picture too. I've said it from the beginning.
I know. Hold on.
I've never veered from my opinion. Not one time. Not a popular opinion, but I've said it from the beginning. Watch the damn news interview that he
shows
did
way
with
better.
that girl. I cannot
Look at
think
that.
of that girl's name, the anchor that he did that interview with walking on the property. But I'm telling you, I have watched that interview so many times. My eyes were crossing
No,
when the
Stevie,
bridge
they're
guy
not.
video came out because I don't
Yeah.
know. To me, it's the same gate, but I'm not an expert by any
It
means. Nor am I
is. Look at
claiming
it.
to be.
Okay. Look
Yeah.
at the knee bend and everything, Mom.
Oh, I
It
know.
is the same gait, the same lean with the head down, everything, the same posture. Look.
Mhm.
I'll be damned if it's not the same person.
Yep. And
Yeah.
this is not my. I grabbed this on Twitter and I was half asleep, so I have no idea who to give credit to. But whoever did this did a phenomenal job on putting these
Like-
together.
I think he would look more closer to the other one. Like the bridge guy one, it almost seems like that bottom of that jacket almost has like elastic or something.
This one here, it is tighter around his waist. It's
Versus
zipped
the other
there.
one where it doesn't, so it kind of looks like he has more of a freaking stomach.
Yeah, but the stomach still looks.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
you see it? That's
Mhm.
crazy to me. That is crazy to me. Boom. I can't get past it, you guys. The head nod, everything. That is him. I wish to God we could switch the hats out and change the color on this. I'm telling you, that is him.
Well, I got pissed off at Photoshop and deleted it, or I probably could.
That is too crazy to me. It is impossible to do perfect comparison between persons in different photos due to variances in angles of the lens, lighting, pose, time of photo, and other variables. However, when known person B's image is laid atop suspect A's image in varying degrees of transparency, it seems to point out very considerable similarities. If known person B was geographically near the incident described in Carroll County Sheriff's case, the similarities shown by the above photo comparison seem to indicate a possibility that they are one in the same damn person. Oh my God, it kills me, guys. Good to see you, Stevie. Right, Cap. Right. So what do you think now, SRB? I can't get past it, guys. I can't. I'm sorry. Thank you for that other thing too, Mom. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was way better.
Mm-hmm.
That other shit, that was just a quickie.
Insomnia.
Yeah, and I get it. And then, like I said, once again,
of true crime.
even in a completely different outfit here, it's still to me the same damn gate. Seems like he was leaning a little more at this point, maybe to step around something or whatever, but still.
Yeah, it was probably the damn railroad ties, you know? Those things were no joke.
No, I never walked across that, but if you look at the man's chin, like his nose and stuff, his head is down more here, it looks like, but it's also there's a distance there too in the photos. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, my apologies. I didn't mean to get stuck on this one thing. It's just I can't get off of it. That's the only problem I have with this. It drives me nuts. And Molly just sent me. Hold on. All right. Oh shit, where'd it go, Molly? I hate when this does this. Hold on. One minute.
And I didn't get home till
This is Logan's voice.
And I didn't get home till approximately 6:30 in the evening, and then the neighbor stopped to ask for permission.
I don't know, man. It's awfully twangy.
And I didn't get home till approximately 6:30 in the evening, and then the neighbor stopped to ask for permission.
And then down the hill, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, the difference is with it is the recording type.
Yeah, exactly.
I will grow to my grave. They did it together.
They do. They truly do. It's all right, Molly. Don't worry about it, hon. Thank you for trying. I appreciate it very much. Let me see something here. Let me try this. One more thing for you guys. And see if this works. Okay. And then, like I said, the audio is going to have some background. What Molly sent us is obviously cleaner. It came from a network. Okay, so they scrub, clean it all up, and all that crap. But
Downhill. Downhill. Downhill.
Okay.
It's that to me, I'm just saying. Absolutely. Oh, wait a minute. What's this now? Hold on. I guess this is what the jury was shown too.
And there hadn't been much evidence revealed to the public from the Delphi murders case until testimony this week.
Now, tonight, we're learning there was more video than the clip of the man on the bridge saying down the hill. Our senior investigative reporter, Bob Siegel, just stepped out of the Carroll County Courthouse, where he's been covering the trial since it started.
And he joins us now live from Delphi. And Bob, this is really interesting. What was in that new part of the video that was played in open court this afternoon?
Yeah, so we knew that Libby German recorded video on her cell phone the day she and Abby Williams were murdered in Delphi, but
That's a good point, Phil. And there have been issues with the timeline the whole time. So agreed.
The jury just got to see the video, and there's more video there than what we originally knew. Let me tell you about it. The video that jurors saw today here in court, it's 43 seconds long, taken at 2:13 on the afternoon of the murders. Libby's camera pointed downward, showing video of the Monon High Bridge. We can hear Libby's voice saying, "There's no path." And at the very end, a man's voice seemingly saying, "Down the hill." The video was shown during testimony from Indiana State Police Digital Forensic Examiner Brian Bunner. Now, he explained how he extracted data and audio and video from Libby's cell phone, and he told the jury why he extracted that video very quickly the day after the murders. He told the jury time was of the essence, so we wanted to get data off the phone and in the hands of investigators as soon as possible. The jury then heard how state police actually tried extracting data from the phone 5 separate times over the course of 3 years. One of those times with the help of the Department of Homeland Security in Washington, D.C. And then we heard from another state police audio video technician who explained how he enhanced Libby's cell phone video to get a still image of the person now known as Bridge Guy on the bridge and to isolate the man's voice saying "down the hill." Also today, and I'll tell you, we had a bunch of witnesses who testified in court. We heard testimony from Indiana State Police crime scene investigator Brian Olahai. He started his testimony yesterday. This morning, the jury got to see him show bags of evidence. There were 49 pieces of evidence that he and other investigators collected from the crime scene, an area known as Ground Zero, very close to the girls' bodies, as well as from the autopsies of Abby and Libby that were performed in Terre Haute. Today, he showed the bags to the jury. Those bags included clothes and shoes, swabs of blood, Libby's cell phone, the bullet cartridge that was found on the ground between the two girls, as well as fibers collected from the girls' fingernails. That was some of the evidence. Now, the jury didn't actually get to see the evidence. They saw the bags that contain the evidence. It was part of the state's effort to try to convince the jury that all of this evidence was collected very.
So why wouldn't they see? That's another problem. Why would they not show the jury the actual evidence? Just the bags that it was in? Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's what?
Yeah. They left out a lot of shit.
The jury don't even know half of this case, guys. They don't know. They don't know half the information. I mean, that's insane to me.
This shit's sad. Like I said last night, I couldn't imagine being one of those jurors.
No, not now. I would be pissed. I would be pissed. How would you sleep?
Yeah.
Knowing that you only got pieces of this entire case given to you, and you put a man in prison for 100 and some odd years, took his life away, and not knowing the whole everything. That's the problem for me. I would be highly pissed.
And the chain of custody involved with making sure that all of that evidence had integrity as it was maintained for the investigation. Now, got to tell you, we've got some really important stuff coming up at 6 o'clock. This afternoon, over the last hour and a half, we've heard from 3 separate witnesses that the state put on the stand to explain how certain they are that they saw Bridge Guy on the paths and on the Monon High Bridge just before the murders took place. However, there was some pushback, and some of the testimony that they gave could present a real problem for the state. I will explain that to you coming up on 13 News at 6. For now, I'll send it back to you from here in Delphi.
All right.
Okay. So there was that. Now, that stuff that Mike sent over earlier. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah. Here we go. Let's start here. Bear with me because I have to go through this piece by piece, you guys. Come in and out and go back and forth with it. So So this is, you want to explain this, Mike, what this stuff you sent over was?
Oh no, I'll let you. Well, basically, it's just so this is the guy that Ron Logan supposedly, confessed the murders of the girls,
Gotcha.
and that just basically runs through the guy that is still alive, which is this whatever Davis here.
Yeah.
Is the one that is basically telling the story.
There you go. And it says on May 15th of 2017, blacked out, contacted the FBI public access line, a PAL unit, to report a tip to the Delphi homicide. Blank provided the following information. Blank, Ricky Davis, DOC number 114393, is currently incarcerated at the Newcastle Correctional Facility. A business address is 1000 Van Nuys Road, Newcastle, Indiana. Horse 7362. Business telephone number, blah, blah, blah. Blank received a call from Davis advising that he is in the same block as Ron Logan, owner of the land where the Delphi homicide took place. Genrich, reported Logan is in prison for parole violation. Logan confessed to Ricky step by step of killing the two girls. Logan told Ricky how he burned his clothes in a fire pit where it was located, used box cutters, and struggled with one of the girls, and thought drops of blood from his nose ended up on their clothes. Ricky also advised that he killed the older girl first. Blank said Ricky wants nothing from this but justice for the girls. Okay, so there's that. And he started talking, I think this is part 2. Is this right? Yeah. He started talking, ironic, should have been in school. Knew one of their moms, waitressed at a bar. Animals walked with them, willing to go check out horses. Plus, he told them he had rabbits in a barn. Walked through trail and woods. Oldest paranoid, didn't want to go, and the youngest wanted to see the horses. Think about that, guys. This is how he could have drawn them away from the situation, and did what he did. You know what I'm saying? So,
and this doesn't make a shit bit of sense, but who's to say that he didn't tell them this and maybe this is a timeline thing. Maybe he went back to his house and he said, "Hey, how about you guys come over at the end of your walk and see the horses and the freaking whatever the hell else this was, the rabbit."
Sure, yeah.
Something of that nature. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit at the wall here,
No, it's fine. And that whole down the hill guys could have been telling, when she said there's no path.
Yeah.
He could have been helping them to say, "Hey, it's down the hill, guys. Let's go this way. I'll show you how to get there. Come on."
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So then it says the oldest turned to try to help the youngest one. The oldest started looking and kicking. The youngest seemed he now grabs the oldest, and he said that he got hit on his nose, scared he got blood on one of the girls, pulled box cutter out, slit oldest one, hit an artery, youngest scared, etc. Took little girl with him for a while, never said where. He said he cut her to cut both necks. Okay, these are just the detail parts of that conversation, guys. Then we have the oldest turn to help the youngest. Oldest started kicking, looking. Youngest, wait, is that the same thing, Mike? Oh, sorry, there it is. Sorry, everybody. He left again, came back later in the evening. Search was going on at that time. Later on, late hours, tried to move the oldest one to an area not going to be found, place where four-wheelers go. Yeah, he burned his clothes in the burn pile, hiking and walking, boots, gloves, bag. Okay. Then, where'd it go? Soles of, wait a minute. Okay. Soles of boots, be something in burn pile. Next morning, 2 other girls knocked on a door, asked to search on property. It would feel weird if he said no. He let them take off. Got a hold of family members and got out of area. So And that's it for that. Okay.
Didn't they say that he left and went someplace after that?
Yes. I do remember that.
Well,
hold on here. Where's the stuff that Kelly sent me? Kells. Is it in here? Hold on, let me check here real quick. Guess not. Well, shoot. Okay. I mean, Thunder. It's our summer. Like I said, what is this? Truly, here's my thing with this. If you're in prison, and you know you're in prison, you're not going nowhere. You can't get away from somebody. I think you'd have more to lose by doing this if there's involvement by other people, than to gain. And I said all he wants is he didn't ask for anything to be taken off his sentence. He didn't ask for any of this other stuff. There's Green-Eyed. Welcome, Green-Eyed. And all he wants is justice for the girls. Now, what are the odds that an inmate's going to do something like that and not try to get something out of it? Just saying. You know what I mean? So anyway, I can't pull up the documents Kelly gave me. I can't find the damn thing. Sorry, guys. But I will go. Hang on to the next part of what we were looking at here. All right, now where'd it go? Okay, hold on a second here. One more time. All right, you gonna start working now finally? There. Okay, here we go. This was brand new, like 3 hours ago. By the way. Okay. So let me play it. We're good. I am so very sorry, you guys, for all the technical crap, but appreciate your patience with me. I don't know why my computer's acting stupid tonight. It's just doing its own thing. So.
A step toward justice for Abby Williams and Libby German. Richard Allen was sentenced last month to 130 years in prison for murdering the Delphi teens. But Allen's defense team believes the jury convicted the wrong man. Tonight, they're speaking to our Caitlin Kendall for the first time since a gag order on the case was lifted.
If Richard Allen is not guilty, no justice was served. There was no justice for Abby and Libby. There's no justice for Richard Allen. And there's no justice for the people of Indiana.
Strong opinions from one of Richard Allen's defense attorneys. Jennifer Auger and Andrew Baldwin believe Abby Williams and Libby German's killer or killers are still out there, despite evidence presented at trial and 12 jurors finding him guilty.
Do you guys feel Richard Allen had a fair trial?
I think that had the evidence presented, we would have had a different outcome.
To say whether it's fair or not, we get it. I don't know what our ethical, how I feel about that. Come on.
The defense feels the exclusion of third-party evidence limited its ability to present a full defense for Allen. Judge Fran Gohl ruled there was no link between people the defense felt were suspects in the deaths of the teens.
This jury wanted to convict someone. They feel that that's their job. And with no one else to point the finger to, I believe that had our third party evidence come out, this would have ended differently.
At the end of the day, you say, who won the day? You know, and when the state was going every day, we felt like we won the day, we won the day, we won the day. And there was a couple days where we tied, we felt, and maybe we lost one day. And so I think it's crazy that we were surprised that we had a guilty verdict, but we were.
Walk me through those days of waiting for the jury to reach their verdict.
When the jury came back and looked at the evidence they did, I was a little worried that they were so intently listening to the video from Libby's phone that it was coming down to that was worrisome to me, when we felt that we had so much reasonable doubt. The timeline, the data from the phone, the lack of evidence, the lack of any in-court identifications.
When you hear those words, we the jury find Richard Allen guilty, guilty, guilty. What was that moment like for you guys, and how do you pick up and walk out of the courtroom?
Difficultly. It's
numbing.
Gutting. Yeah.
I mean, you actually ask yourself, did they just say guilty? But then you look and there's Richard Allen, and you're like, and there's Kathy out there, and that is when it becomes really hard. You know, it becomes super hard at that point, because it's like, what am I even caring about me? This guy is going to have to go back to prison. He's ill-equipped to be in prison with his mental health issues, and his wife.
Do you guys take on the case again?
You know, I think that we are all very committed to Richard Allen. We care about him deeply, his family, and the case and justice. And we feel strongly in our position. None of us are walking away from Richard Allen. If this comes back for a second trial, you know, we are ready and willing to take that on.
Baldwin admits the defense team could be too emotionally attached to provide the best representation for Allen, but they don't want to walk away either.
We actually believe in his innocence. We actually would want to be in the fight in the future, but because, you know, we want to make sure that he gets the best representation. If it isn't us, I will suck up my pride and let somebody else take on that role. But it'd be hard because there's just so much out there.
Well, that was just a portion of Caitlin's 45-minute conversation with the defense team.
And there's some more of that. We watched some of that the other night. Last night, I think it was. And I think that was the rest of that part of it. So, 1 second here. Trying to pull the new stuff up that just came up to show you as well. I can't get them documents to open up. Come on, open up for me. Danny said surprised with the guilty when 79% of the evidence in the defense was suppressed. I got to agree. Oh, that's the next thing, that the Vinny thing. Sorry, guys. Where did it go? Where are this at? Mom, where are you? 1 second here. You are up here somewhere. That's why. Derp. Okay, back it up.
What? I'm right here.
I know. I'm talking to myself. Sorry. I'm trying to find that thing you sent me. The Vinny thing. But I also have, there's another version of it too. I'm so irritated. My computer is like not responding when it's supposed to. And I'm really sorry, you guys. That's why there's delays and everything's so unprofessional tonight. More than normal. I'll just put it that way. Everything I touch it takes it. I don't even know how to explain it. Like if I'll click an X to close something out, it takes like 5 seconds before it does it. It's driving me insane. Okay. So, where are we at here? Let me click in the box. Let's try this one more time. So aggravated. I'm aggravated. Okay, come on. All right, here we go. This is a new court TV situation that just popped up yesterday that I really wanted to cover as well. What? Where did this journalist get her hair extensions? Golden unicorn. Oh God, Bill.
Getting warmed up.
That was funny, Bill. All right, it's loading in, guys. It's just being really damn slow. Maybe I do need to go in and clean some stuff out again. Come on, load.
Maybe got your virus.
Don't say that to me.
Oh.
Don't even put that in the universe, bro.
I got this guy that works on the office computers, and he just does that log me in thing.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even have to come to the house, and he just, goes in.
Remote. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the best $80 to spend.
This girl to reassure her it was okay.
All right. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, I can.
All right, here we go with Mr. Vinny Vin.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation is the Delphi murder case. Richard Allen has been convicted, but he continues to claim his innocence, fighting for a new trial. Now, this is not unusual, but what is unusual are all the circumstances that led to his conviction. Here's the story.
For more than 5 years, it was a mystery, an unsolved case with many leads, suspicious characters, and so many rumors. Investigators released very little information, but journalists, podcasters, and true crime followers all speculated on what happened to best friends Abby Williams and Libby German, two teenage girls living in the small rural community of Delphi, Indiana, a town with just 3,000 residents. On February 13th, 2017, the girls had a day off from school and they decided to go on an outdoor adventure. They were dropped off near the Monon High Bridge, and that's where their bodies were found the next day. More than 5 years later, Richard Allen was arrested for the murders. Someone no one had on their radar. At trial, he was quickly convicted by the jury based upon many of his own alleged statements. Allen still claims his innocence, and his attorneys are fighting for a new trial based upon some of the evidence that was prohibited from the trial, including evidence they say connects the murder to someone else.
This was a case with very little transparency. From the investigation to the trial itself. Cameras were banned, electronics were banned from the courtroom. We heard very little, gag orders throughout. So it's been difficult for members of the public to truly understand all of the evidence in this case and what evidence was actually used to convict Richard Allen. That's because the public, except those people who were able to get inside that courtroom, were shut out from what happened here. I want you to take a look at this. Now, the defendant, Richard Allen, through his attorneys, has filed some papers, and in the exhibit to those papers is a tip narrative, which was a tip that was given in this case on May 15th of 2017, just a few months after the murders. Redacted contacted the FBI public access line unit to report a tip on the Delphi homicide. Ricky Davis is currently incarcerated at the Newcastle Correctional Facility.
This is what we just went over, just so you guys know.
He is in the same block as Ron Logan, owner of the land where the Delphi homicides took place. Logan confessed to Ricky step by step of killing the two girls. Logan told Ricky how he burned his clothes in a fire pit and where it was located. Used box cutters. Remember that part of this. Used box cutters. And struggled with one of the girls and thought drops of blood from his nose ended up on their clothes. Ricky also advised that he killed the older girl first. So Ron Logan is someone who was on the radar before the arrest of Richard Allen, someone a lot of people talked about. Someone who also lied about his alibi that day when he was questioned. So obviously he's sort of in the front of everything. The girls were found on his property as well. But how about this part of the story? Brings us to our first question in our investigation. And it's about Ron Logan. Did Ronald Logan confess? I get it, folks. I've heard a lot of these alleged confessions to other inmates who are trying to get a deal to get out. So they see somebody come in and all of a sudden there's a confession. But looking closer at it and some of the details here, can we answer that question? Joining me on the phone, Court TV senior producer Barbara McDonald, and he wrote a book on the Delphi murders called Forest for the Trees. Chris Todd is with us. Chris, great to see you. I'm so glad that Barbara's here as well. I'm going to go to Barbara first. Barbara, I know you spent a lot of time speaking with Ron Logan. What are your thoughts about this question? Did Ron Logan confess?
I never heard Ron Logan confess. He never confessed to me. However, in the months and months of conversations that he and I had talking about this case, he never said he didn't do it. He always said, they can't prove I did it, which I thought was an interesting distinction.
That's a little strange. That's a strange way to answer that question. You can't prove that I did it. Wait a minute, what does that mean? Chris Todd, your thoughts about this alleged confession from another inmate? We always take it with a grain of salt because I've seen it tons of times, right? But what are your thoughts about
Jealous, dude.
what he had to say about this confession? This goes back to May of 2017.
Well, I'm just finding out about this because it's saying it's newly discovered, right? Do we have a Brady rule violation? So I'm just reading it. It's scary of what he's saying to this inmate. Obviously, we have to be careful with the inmate telling us this, but how long did they know this? How long was this information with the state? Did they withhold it from the defense team? And to me, working a lot.
That's what my question was with this. How long did they know this? Okay.
Yeah,
That's a huge issue for me because we've seen the other things were withheld. You know, why doubt it now? That's all I'm saying.
A lot of other cases, you have to be careful what the suspect says, right? When I read that, there's a lot of stuff Ron Logan is kind of hiding, but it is explosive to say the least, for sure.
So here's Ricky Davis's handwritten statement about this alleged confession. Now, this is June 21st, 2017. So again, close in time. Mr. Logan has made reference to the killings in Delphi, Indiana. He told me he was the one who had killed those girls that had got out of hand. He walked with them in the woods to his property, and the girls wanted to turn back.
Thank you, SRB.
Said something about walking he grabbed the youngest girl to reassure her it was okay. However, they panicked, and he also panicked. He indicated he ended up cutting the oldest with a box cutter. He went on telling me that he killed both of them because it was took too far. I want to put this next thing up on the screen because we have to put some context into this because there's the mentioning of the box cutters. This is from the trial. Again, no cameras, no microphones, but we have reporters there. This is from a reporter's notebook. The witness, Dr. Roland Kaur, forensic pathologist, believes a box cutter caused the serrated marks on Libby's leftmost wound. Box cutter, that's coming from the prosecution's expert, correct, Barbara? This is the forensic pathologist testifying for the prosecution.
That's right.
Is saying it's a box cutter. Let me ask you this, Barbara. I don't want to miss this piece of it though, because timing to me is a lot here. At what point did you, who has covered this story in depth for years, when was the first time you ever heard that a box cutter was used in this?
When Dr. Kaur testified at the trial. And he said he had only just come to that realization a few months prior to his testimony.
Wow. Now, give me your reaction now to this confession and the details here, according to Ricky Davis. Again, the inmate, we take it with a grain of salt. What about these details? What's your reaction to that, Barbara?
It's interesting. Ron was known to walk out on the trails and walk his property a lot. He described, according to this inmate, that he was just out and encountered these girls and it got out of hand. Now, the one thing that this confession includes that Ron would be offended by is that he panicked. I don't think he would like anybody to think that he would ever panic, no matter what situation he was ever in. But he was a very complicated man. And in my months of talking to him about these murders, I never felt that he was for sure not the guy. He said things, and some of the things that he liked to talk about with regard to this case were unsettling for sure. And he was very focused on this case, even when he wasn't talking about it publicly.
Well, and again, you could explain it that, hey, the victims are found on his property, right? There can be that explanation. I don't know. I still think it's kind of strange, though, Barbara. I think it's kind of strange when he says that he doesn't say I didn't do it. He says they can't prove it. Those are two different things. That's not guilty versus innocent. In our system, not guilty is you can't prove it. Innocent is I didn't do it.
Right. And he said that repeatedly. Every time he was given the chance to deny that he killed the girls, he would say, they can't prove I did.
Wow. All right, Chris, you were investigating this on the ground.
Who would say that other than saying, no, it wasn't me, I didn't do it?
Yeah.
Repeatedly, come on. That's almost taunting. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
That's nuts.
Schmuck.
When was the first time you heard about a box cutter being involved in the attack and murder of these two innocent girls?
The box cutter stuff came out pretty recent. It was never talked about. There were thoughts that there were two knives, okay, because the girls had different types of neck wounds. One was a lot longer than the other, okay? And these Leo whistleblowers have told us that, okay? And that stuff I put in my book. I do want to say a couple quick things here.
Sure.
First of all, when Ron Logan's doing that, that's a form of an adopted admission, okay? That can be used in court, okay? Secondly, why are we talking about this now? When we had a video of Bridge Guy with audio tape of him, okay? Ron Logan's search warrant was leaked in 2022, where the FBI kept pointing at him repeatedly, okay? And now we're finding out that this confession was possibly hidden and not brought to the forefront. And I'll say this, it's
the FBI, that's fact, folks. The FBI, for those of you that don't know it, they were dead set on Ron Logan being the suspect. They would not leave it alone.
Yeah, I mean, they wrote Richard Allen off.
Right. Everybody else was written off. Ron Logan was the one, and then all of a sudden, he wasn't.
What was the year that Putz passed away?
2021. Mom, do you remember?
In comparison to when they picked up Richard Allen for this,
I think it was 2020. Late, was it late 2021?
I think so. Yeah. Well, it was for the Big C, so yeah, I believe it was.
I wonder how those dates match, though.
In what way?
When Ron Logan passed away, up to when the Richard Allen's interrogation. The second
Oh
one.
yeah, that's a good point, Mike. Good point. I'll have to
I
look
wonder
into
what
that.
those
for real.
dates are.
Right?
Obviously, I think Logan was already gone because wasn't it 5 years later they got Richard? Or no, that's not right.
You know, yeah. It was Allen was arrested in 2023.
Yeah, so
Right?
there was
Or
one
was it
more.
2022, Mom? 2020. I can't remember, you guys. I got my dates are all mixed up right now. It was 6 years after the murders happened. Okay. So you got me
Yeah.
thinking.
I know. I gotta figure this shit
I'll
out.
get the answers to it. It's all right.
Yeah.
We can write RA, and if anyone does, tell him that the jury said isn't the general consensus. Yeah, that would be awesome. There it is. Thank you, Molly. October 26th of 2022. That's when he was arrested. Okay. Thanks, Molly. I couldn't remember the year. And Logan died, like Mom said, late 2021, I do believe.
Yeah, so there's probably like a 3 to 4 month gap.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't the girls went there to do their little thing. They were there to hang out, whatever. And it was a bad, happened to fall into the hands of this person. I think it was the 26th, Molly. Like I said, guys, we've had so many dates in our heads with these. It's hard to stick to one and be right. I'll just have to look it up. That's all. Let me finish this.
It's not just about a confession. When you look at the Bridge Guy video, okay, where's Lois Gibson, who did the report with Robert Ives? They hid that for years, and she said it was Ron Logan on the bridge. Why did the prosecution and the defense not do any real analysis of height, weight, and gait, or use calculus and walk Richard Allen on the bridge? That person in the Bridge Guy video is not 5'4". And there's something else that really gives it away too. I won't say what it is right now. There's something that really gives it away. That Bridge Guy is Ron Logan.
All right. We're not done with this story. We have to say goodnight to you right now, Chris. You left us with a cliffhanger, but we will cover this again, obviously. And he wrote the book about it. Barbara McDonald staying with us. Coming up next, was Ron Logan at the scene that night?
Molly's right. It wasn't 2021, it was 2022. And the date's right too, Molly. It was the 24th.
That was the death. And then he the other one was 10/26 of 22 when Allen was arrested.
My shit's been really slow.
No, so was mine. That's all right.
Mine's always slow at this time though.
I'm going through the same thing. It's weird. Never happens to me usually.
October 26th. Yep.
Of 2022.
Yeah.
So Logan died before Allen was arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. All right. There you go, Mikey.
And then the murder sheet came out with the quotey fingers leaked to FBI shit.
Mm-hmm. That was right after that, right?
I think it was right after. It was either right after or right before.
Gotcha. Okay.
Can you use that word?
Who is all the other men?
A Ponzi scheme and a deadly poisoning.
A former pharmacist already convicted in a federal fraud case.
Now stands trial for the murder of her husband.
The financial crime.
Documents were looked at during the course of the investigation, and you always said we couldn't say that they're cleared. Can you now say they're cleared?
I may not use that word cleared, but what I can tell you is we don't have any other evidence that ties them to the offense at this time.
This dude is so fucking slimy. He makes me sick. I can't even stand him.
Yeah, he is pretty putsy.
So they're not cleared. Despite the conviction of Richard Allen, it seems other people who were on the radar aren't necessarily cleared, but the prosecutor is clear in what he's saying. I have no evidence to include them, but I have no evidence to exclude them at this time. Well, this time is after the conviction of Richard Allen. So let's get back to the notes. Now, this is the sergeant handwritten notes of Ricky Davis, and we have them transcribed on the right. This is how the defense, Richard Allen's defense, transcribed these handwritten notes, but they're really important and significant here. Talking about knowing one of their dads, to walk with them.
Hold on. What was December 20th of 24? Thunder. That was just last month. It couldn't have been, hun. That was last month. Richard Allen's arrest happened. I remember it was in October. It was a 22. Yeah. Siri messed that one up big time.
Damn it, Siri.
Siri's been drinking again.
I'm surprised the bitch didn't answer me.
Right.
I sent you a screenshot of this document.
What'd you say, Mom?
I sent you a screenshot of this document.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, dear. Hold on. Oh, bingo. All right, cool. I'll pull that up in a minute.
Around. So Abby or Libby apparently wanted to turn around. Grab the youngest's
Have a great
shoulder.
night, Candy.
It's okay. The oldest freaked out. Animals. Walked with them, willing to go check out horses. He, again, meaning Ron Logan, told them he had rabbits in the barn. Walked through the trail in the woods. The oldest was paranoid, didn't want to go. The youngest wanted to see the horses. Pulled box cutter out. Slit oldest one, hit an artery. Youngest scared. Took little girl with him for a while, never said where. He left again, came back later in evening, search going on. Later on late hours, tried to move oldest one to area not going to be found. Are you following this now? So from the handwritten notes, it's not just this box cutter. It's also that he's moving them at night, which brings us to the next question in our investigation.
Which is something I talked about a year ago. About he's obviously they're not going to be moving him during the day because the search is going on, and it's not going on at night. That's the best time to do that. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
clearly. It's okay, Thunder. Don't worry about it, hun. That's what I said, Cap. Way too detailed to be ignored. Specifics, like, you're not going to get that unless they're stated, in my opinion. I'm just saying.
Was Ronald Logan at the scene that night? And we know the prosecution theory is that the girls are murdered in the afternoon, early to mid-afternoon. But was Ron Logan at the scene that night? Let me take a look at a couple more things I have for you here, folks, because this is interesting. This is from the affidavit for a search warrant on Ron Logan's property. I said he was on the radar. So there was a search warrant for his property. And what did they put in their sworn affidavit to get that search warrant? Logan's cell data showed around 10:16 p.m., February 13th, 2017, he received a text message while outside his residence in the area of Abby and Libby's bodies at night. Okay? Ron Logan is outside of his home that night, at least his phone is, near the area of Abby's and Libby's bodies. One more thing I want you to look at here. This is from...
Now, why in the hell would that man be out in that area at 10 o'clock at night?
How the hell could they pinpoint that shit in the middle of Indiana like that? I mean, I don't know.
Technology is technology, bro.
They couldn't fucking do it in Idaho too well, huh?
A ping is only good for 2 miles.
Right.
So I call bullshit on right
Yeah.
next to their bodies because a ping is only good for 2 miles.
Well, he said in the area of where Abby and Libby were, so that could be within that vicinity, Mom. So
The man could have been a weirdo that liked to strip naked and run across this property at night. Who the hell knows?
that's true. That's true. It is ironic, but it is very true what you just said. If nothing else, I do believe he was a weirdo. So there's that.
Court documents. At trial, Mr. Allen, the defendant, okay, this is defendant's evidence. The defendant introduced evidence through the testimony of Stacy Eldridge, a digital and mobile forensics expert. So this is a defense expert, that someone plugged wired headphones into the auxiliary jack of Libby German's phone at 5:44 p.m. on February 13th, 2017, and unplugged it at 10:32 p.m. the same day. So this is the defense expert. This isn't prosecution evidence. I'm sure they don't agree with it, but you've got someone at the scene at 10:32. Was Ron Logan at the scene that night? Still with me, Barbara McDonald, and joining me, another person who was in the courtroom for the Delphi murders trial, criminal defense attorney and host of the Defense Diaries podcast, Bob Motta. All right, putting these pieces together, Barbara, I'll begin with you. I've got now in this alleged confession that he makes, he's talking about being there at night. Did anyone know that? I mean, was this public knowledge that people knew Ron Logan was out that night?
No, his story has always been that when he got home from the fish store with the fish that he had purchased, he spent the evening indoors getting that tank ready and putting the fish in it. He did not go and attempt to search. That evening, Pat Brown did stop by his house and asked for permission to go on his property and search, and he gave Pat that permission. But as far as Ron always told it, he was home all night.
All right, Bob Motta, if he says he's home all night and the cell phone data says he's out near the bodies at 10:16 and he lied about his alibi, so now you've got him lying about his alibi, right? You've got him lying about where he is that night. What are your thoughts about where Ron Logan was?
Well, I mean, the biggest problem with the whole Ron Logan thing is that the girls were found on his property. So, you know, and the reason that Judge Gull was able to exclude the third party culprit as to the Odinist stuff was this nexus. I mean, I can't think of a bigger nexus than the fact that the bodies were found on Ron Logan's property. And then when you couple that with the fact that he lied about his alibi, and you've got a real problem. You know, it would seem to me it's near impossible for him to say that he wasn't at the crime scene because the crime scene was his property.
Yeah, Bob, and what I'm looking at here, like if this was evidence against Ron Logan, if Ron Logan was the one on trial, this is evidence prosecutors would be using to prosecute him. He lied about his alibi, ladies and gentlemen. He said he was inside with his fish all night. Yet his cell phone is near Abby and Libby, right? So where did Ricky Davis come from, this inmate, with this alleged confession? Did anyone know about this beforehand? Bob?
I had not heard about him. I've talked to other inmates, though, who have similar stories.
But you haven't heard of this guy. Bob, where did this guy come from?
This was in the tips. It was in the Orion database. So when they were just digging through 15,000 tips that were all, you know, called in from various sources or that were picked up through various sources, and they were digging through them to prepare this motion, this kind of just bombshell information came out. I mean, I don't know anybody that was more kind of in contact with Ron Logan than Barb.
Right.
Frankly, and like, Barb, was this a shock to you?
Absolutely, yeah.
So this sort of comes out of left field. It's in a pile of 15,000 tips, but it's not just a tip. I mean, it's an alleged jailhouse confession, Barbara. This is like a different level. It's not like, hey, I saw a blue car driving down the street. This is somebody said they did it and gave me details.
Right. And a man who was known to have lied about his alibi and couldn't account for where he was during the time frame that the girls were abducted. And he did make it to the fish store that afternoon, and he did have a purchase from the fish store. I spoke to the clerk. He had his receipt. He definitely made it there. But what time he made it there, nobody knows. He can't prove it.
Well, they can't prove anything when it comes to Ron Logan, apparently, and he was right about that. Barbara McDonald, in the middle of this story, thank you so much. Bob Mott is going to stick with us. When we come back, is the state's timeline correct? I'm Vinnie Politan. We continue our investigation of the Delphi murder case. Now, the jury convicted Richard Allen last year, but it was a very unusual and unorthodox case, which has many people still examining what happened. Here's the story.
Teenagers Abby Williams and Libby German were best friends living in the small rural community of Delphi, Indiana. On February 13th, 2017, the girls had a day off from school, so they decided to go on an outdoor adventure. They were dropped off near the Monon High Bridge, and while on that bridge, Libby recorded a man with her phone uttering the words, "Down the hill." It was down the hill where Libby and Abby would be murdered. Prosecutors say the man on the bridge is responsible, and that man is Richard Allen. But Allen and his attorneys say prosecutors have it all wrong. They say Allen is innocent, and it was someone else on the bridge that day who took the lives of these two innocent girls. But at the trial, the jury agreed with the prosecutors, and Allen was convicted and will spend the rest of his life in prison unless the defense can get the conviction tossed. And that's what they are attempting to do, pointing at evidence which was excluded and alleged false statements made to the jury by prosecutors about what happened and when it happened. So now Richard Allen waits as his attorneys try to get him another chance.
Now, Richard Allen was convicted in large part by his own words, or as the defense might say, his own alleged words, because of confessions that were made and things that he said to others that others then told the jury. So the question is, did he do this? Well, the jury was convinced beyond any and all reasonable doubt that he did. But he's still claiming his innocence. His attorneys are fighting for a new trial with new evidence and the ability to present evidence that wasn't permitted at the first trial. Now, going back to that first trial, this is from our reporter's notebook. Again, cameras, microphones banned by the judge. The witness, Dr. Monica Walla, who was Richard Allen's prison psychologist. And this is Richard Allen's alleged confession about the day of the murders that he told to the doctor. He saw the girls on the trails and followed them across the bridge. Mentioned doing something with his gun and thought the bullet fell out. He told the girls down the hill and cross the creek. He wanted to sexually assault them, but didn't because he saw a van. That's an important part of what we're going to be talking about now. So pay attention to that. He wanted to sexually assault them, but didn't because he saw a van. Cut their necks, covered their bodies in branches, and stayed off the trails to exit to avoid.
Mind you, he made this whole thing after he received discovery, by the way, just so everybody understands that. That's another side to this too.
Avoid being seen. So let's go now to the state's timeline and map of what they say happened when they were trying this case and convicted Richard Allen. 1:49 p.m., Abby and Libby are dropped off across from Mears Farm, which is located on the north side of County Road 300 North, near the entrance of the trails. 2:13 p.m., Video from Libby's cell phone shows the girls encountered a man on the southeast portion of the Monon High Bridge. Prosecutors say Richard Allen abducts Abby and Libby and forces them down the hill to the south side of Deer Creek, where he is going to sexually assault them. The times are important here. This is a timeline. 2:30, Richard Allen's sexual assault is interrupted when Brad Weber's van passes by on the access road as Weber is driving home from work. 2:30 p.m., the van. 2:32 p.m., the van causes Allen to take Abby and Libby across Deer Creek to Ron Logan's property. Liberty German's phone stops moving at 2:32 p.m., and the state contends that's when the girls have been killed. So the girls are killed at 2:32. They put together the pieces of this timeline. Brings us to the next question in our investigation. Is the state's timeline correct? Is it correct? Is there anything in this timeline that doesn't jive with the evidence in the case? Joining me, the YouTube live streamer behind Gray Hughes Investigates. He's followed this case extremely closely and is, I call him the king of timelines. Gray Hughes is with us. And someone who was in the courtroom for the Delphi murders trial, criminal defense attorney and host of the Defense Diaries podcast, Bob Motta. Okay, I want to introduce something that was referenced in a defense filing, which is some surveillance video. Let's take a look at it, because this surveillance video apparently captures or allegedly captures that van, that white Econoline van on 2/13/2017. Notice the time, 2:44 and 33 seconds. 2:44 and 33 seconds is when this van is allegedly seen driving.
So there's the 14-minute difference from what they actually stated. Instead of 2:30, it was 2:44. That's the problem, in my opinion.
On that road. Okay, let me start with you, Gray. I don't know what you're seeing in this van, in this video.
Yeah.
If this is Weber's van at 2:44, does that mean that the timeline of the state is incorrect here?
It does mean that there's like a portion of it that wouldn't be accurate. I would say that you'd have to, it just changes when he was startled by the van. So you've got, when you look at the time on the clock, they said it's 12 hours off. Do we know that if it's 12 hours off, how do we know it's not 12 hours and 20 minutes off? So somebody needs to do some investigation into what was the actual time of that video. But let's say it is Weber's van driving by at 2:44. So what that would mean is, in Richard Allen's statement, he said he went down the hill and he was going to assault them down below. This is a little bit of a correction to the timeline that you had on your screen.
Sure.
He had him go down the down the hill, and then he was going to assault them down below. But then he got startled while he was down below. Then he crossed the creek. That's what his story was. Okay, so that makes, that part of the story wouldn't be accurate. I've always thought that he crossed the creek, then he saw the van. That's before the testimony of trial. That I thought he crossed the creek and was startled by the van while he was at the crime scene. And the phone actually stops moving from 2:17, I believe, or 2:18 to 2:25. Then at 2:25 to 2:32, it seems to cross the creek and then go up the bank as we get an elevation shift on the watch. And that's when or the phone, I mean, and that's when it stopped moving. All right, so it stopped moving. So it could still be that they were made to go up the hill. The phone was put on the ground. And then 13 minutes later, they were killed by Richard Allen, or maybe it just kept going on and on. Because the thing is if you believe Sarah Karbaugh, that she saw him walking. I don't actually put any, I don't put any weight to Sarah Karbaugh. That's like an hour later.
Right.
So what was he doing at the crime scene all that time?
Let me go to Bob on this. All right, Bob. There was also some FBI subject information sheet, which seemed to indicate that Weber's phone pings to his parents' address overlooking the crime scene initially at 2:50 p.m. What are your thoughts about the timeline now in light of this video, if the timestamp is accurate on that video?
I think if the timestamp on the video is accurate, it absolutely destroys the state's timeline. And the reason is this: probably the most powerful words that came out of Nick McClelland's mouth during that entire trial was the last things that he said to that jury, and that was that these two girls solved their own murders. And Nick decided to say that Abby, in her last act on this planet, was to hide the phone underneath herself, which would mean that that would have happened at 2:32 in the afternoon. And this completely destroys that. Completely. There's no way around that theory being wrong. You can't have it both ways.
I got you. We're out of time right now. We are going to continue this conversation, though, Gray. I know you've got to come back, but I'm on a tight schedule tonight. All right, I'll give you 15 seconds, Gray. 15 seconds. Promise.
All right. Why didn't the defense bring that up at trial? Because they know that it places the white van right there during the crime, and they didn't want to bring it up at trial. They've had it the whole time. So you might want to ask yourself that question.
Okay.
Maybe she wouldn't let them do that because she was stopping everything from being talked about. I don't know if that's true, guys. It's just a thought, but
yeah, I mean, she didn't even let them bring the DNA from underneath the fingernails.
No, and it wasn't tested. None. I mean,
there's a lot.
Jesus Christ. And I don't know that that's true what I just said. So don't take that as a factual statement, guys. But I'm just saying maybe she didn't allow that. She didn't allow so much in this to be brought in or talked about or whatever. So I don't know. But that it is a good question that Gray asked. Why didn't they use it? And I just have to wonder, was it disallowed? Possibly, because that would be something that would be important, I would think. Or is it because the timeline doesn't fit? The timeline that was used does not match up with that. I don't know, guys. These are just thoughts, but
Gray Hughes, Bob Motta, appreciate your perspectives. Thank you so much. Still to come, should Richard Allen get a new trial?
Richard Allen, you child murderer! Why did you do it?
Why do they use this clip?
Oh, I know. It's the worst one.
Oh my God.
that gets so old hearing that too. Did you hear it so many times?
I know.
I get so tired of hearing that, man. Oh my God.
Yes, I agree.
Jonathan.
Yep. Yeah, that was JLR, bro.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm taller than you, Jonathan.
He's got to be as loud as he can.
Oh, that was his death?
Yes, of course.
Oh, no sugar.
Yeah, dude.
Look, you can't tell, Mike?
Oh, my God. You should have seen that guy driving in that snow.
It was stupid.
Holy Christmas.
Here, I'll let you hear it again, Mikey, just for you.
Richard Allen get a new trial.
Richard Allen, you child murderer! Why did you do it?
Grieving widow or mastermind behind a murder.
Come on in. Come on in.
You know that's his claim to fame in life, probably. He probably talks about it all the time and he probably plays it to himself.
He's done that so many times. Like there's a couple other cases that he stood out in front of the courthouse and done that.
Yes, he does.
And he's not this big baddo that he thinks he is. Because when I walked up behind him and I said, Jonathan, he jumped about a foot off the ground, and I have a witness.
Oh, shit.
I still remember when the dude in Idaho tried to beat his ass. You guys remember that? The guy in the white pickup the white truck with all
the one flying the flag. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so funny to me. And he just stands there like frozen, like,
oh God.
You know he ain't gonna fight back. I'm just saying. 10:22, guys. Hang on. Well, God, I hate when this thing does this.
Something just loaded in the background too.
Yeah, I see it. This is the 1022 thing. It does this all the time.
You need to let Minnie remote into your computer and fix it.
Yeah, I'm about to have him fix everything because it's driving me nuts. What the hell, Walt?
I did not need that.
Where do these things come from?
And I agree
You're
with Summer. I think 2 people did it. I believe Ron Logan.
At the
and
very
Richard
least,
Allen
yeah.
together.
Yeah, at the very least, at least 2 people, guys. Come on. Yes, that's true too, Molly. That's true.
Who's
too.
lurking in the bushes?
She's talking about at least JLR isn't hiding in the bushes as much as every
Oh.
damn video he'd pop up. He's standing there behind a bush like.
Well, he was looking for a girl down here. I can't even remember her name. I've got too many cases in my head, but she went missing at one of the springs. And what was so weird was we had just left the spring, like probably 4 or 5 hours before she arrived there. And he had went and he was trampling through an unhoused tent community down here. And he about got himself Swiss cheesed in there messing around.
That's what I'm saying. He does dumb shit, and he's
Yeah,
lucky.
he's pretty ballsy.
He's lucky he still walks around like he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's backed off on some things. I noticed. Molly's right. He doesn't do as much as of the ballsy shit anymore. I gotta wonder if some people got to him at some point and said, "Threaten
Maybe
him or
it's his
something."
woman.
You know?
That's what Mikey took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I know you done cracked the whip.
She's like,
Yeah,
I ain't down with that shit now.
She's
You gotta
calmed him
chill
down
out.
a lot, I think. Magnolia. She's definitely calmed him down. It's so funny to me. Bullhorn hates her, and I mean hates her so bad.
Yeah?
It is so funny.
She's
so
just
funny.
jealous.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
She's angry about the fork.
Definitely the fork. Yes.
Telling you
What's
there
up,
was a whole
Cryptic?
fork gate. There was a
Mhm.
whole fork gate that went down.
Yes, Forkgate is real, folks. Just as much as Wienergate is, it's real too.
Yep, and Soapgate.
Yep.
Oh,
Lot-
the time's going back in the YouTubers. Hi, Cryptic.
Good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right.
I'm gonna go grab his panel because he has an excellent video with Miss Barbara on panel as well.
Oh yeah, he did. We were there for it.
Yeah,
What did you say? You're gonna what?
grab his link.
Oh yeah. Please do. I always try to drop it when he pops in here.
Sorry,
for
I was
sure.
thinking out loud.
Oh no, it's okay.
Begins following jury selection on Court TV.
And the judge did find probable cause for an arrest of Richard Allen.
Richard Allen, you child murderer! Why did you do it?
Guilty on all 4 counts, unanimous by this jury.
I knew we would come to the day where we could say today is the day, and we reached it.
Without this verdict, we would have been lost still, and it would have been a heavy load a burden that we couldn't carry.
Well, in the eyes of the jury, the prosecution carried that burden, and Richard Allen was convicted beyond a reasonable doubt of the murders of Abby and Libby. But it was a very unusual trial, very unusual case. There were things that I saw and heard that I'd never seen or heard before in a criminal case. And we cover them all over the country here on Court TV. So that brings us to the next question in our investigation. Should Richard Allen get a new trial? Who better than to answer that than the defense team that worked so tirelessly and passionately in his defense? 2 of the attorneys were on Richard Allen's defense team for his trial. Andrew Baldwin joins us on the phone. And also joining us, Jennifer Auger and Bradley Rosie. Great to have you all here tonight. Thank you so much. It's a simple question, but it's not so simple, is it, right? Who wants to go first on should Richard Allen get a new trial? I'll ask Andrew. He's on the phone. I'll ask him first. Andrew?
Absolutely. Obviously, I think anybody that pays attention to this case knows how we all feel. I particularly feel having done the majority of the work on the Franks memo that kind of gave rise to the third-party suspect, and then everything that happened after it was filed that furthered our theory that third parties were responsible for these murders.
So let me ask you, Jennifer, what is the process here? What is the road for Richard Allen to get a new trial?
Well, we filed our motion to correct errors yesterday. The judge can, if she doesn't rule, it's deemed automatically denied.
That's kind of what we're talking about, Crip. It's it's definitely interesting, and it really makes me lean towards the Ron Logan situation a lot more than I did. I already did, but way more than I already did. Just saying.
Long time coming.
And the sad thing is that it happened, of course, because of the gag after Allen was convicted, sadly. But it would have been nice if there was a way to put that in there. But like I said, she didn't allow nothing to be looked at. So it's very sad.
She could set it for a hearing, or she could deny it without a hearing. Once that is ruled on, then we have great appellate attorneys, and they'll file their notice of appeal, and they'll take over the case from there.
So Brad, what sort of timetable are we looking at? And is Indiana law on your side with some of the issues that you've raised here?
Yeah, so I think the expectation in terms of a direct appeal is that this will take anywhere from, probably 18 months to maybe 2 years, give or take. It's not a quick process, but that's what we're thinking. Indiana law is on our side, especially as it relates to third-party culpability. You just can't strip a man or a woman, for that matter, of their ability to point to other suspects if there is some materiality to those suspects and their potential involvement. And in this case, I'm quite confident that that's what the appellate courts are going to sink their teeth into, and frankly should sink their teeth into first and foremost. And I believe that is, I don't want to get into all the detailed terms, structural error, fundamental error, whatever kind of error you want to call it, but it's the kind of error that gets you new trials. And I think that Richard Allen will get a new trial.
Andrew, we cover trials all over the country. And going into this case, I was expecting a different trial than we ended up reporting on. We didn't see it, but we reported on it. We had people there. You talk about third-party culpability. In this case, I was looking at third party, fourth party, fifth party, sixth party. I was expecting to hear bits and pieces about a whole bunch of people because I've been covering this story for years. But none of that ended up in the trial?
We were pretty much cut off at the knees on, allowing the jury to see what we think they deserve to see and would want to see.
Welcome,
which is all of the very strong evidence that links third-party suspects to that crime scene and to the crime. And some of the people are more closely related than others, but...
welcome, Siggy and Mike. Welcome, Bobby. It's been a while. Bobby, good to see you, bud. Says, my opinion is he deserves a new trial, but realistically, chances of appellate court granting that is slim to none, since they don't want jurors to feel they got it wrong and their time was wasted. Well, it's obviously, in my opinion, of course, Gall's going to deny it. Probably she'll deny it, probably without a hearing. But either way, whether a hearing or no hearing, she's going to deny it, and then it's going to bounce up to the next level. I don't know, Bobby. I think with the new stuff that's come out, they may look at it in that sense because it's not the jury's fault. The jury wasn't shown any of this stuff. And they're going to know that the jury, she didn't allow any third-party defenses to come through during the trial, and they're going to know that too, and maybe they're questioning it. Why? Why did you stall that out? I would. So maybe those things, in my opinion alone, will give them the ability to grant that possibly. But you do have a good point either way. Appreciate you being here, and I appreciate your input too, sir.
Many of them are all kind of linked together in some way. That three really terrific officers, Kevin Murphy, Greg Ferenczi, and Todd Click, all looked into and all.
And very sadly, one of those officers is deceased now. And don't tell me it had nothing to do with this. Okay, Greg Berensey, they was killed by a prison guard. And guys, that's another thing. Stuff like that went on through this case is crazy to me. Blows my mind. I don't understand how these things happened. And were not looked at as important. You know, they weren't just tossed to the side during this stuff. All of that shit should have been talked about, and it wasn't. It's ridiculous.
All, you know, and one of them even hired a lawyer because he thought maybe Richard Allen was the wrong guy and that he didn't understand how the police had arrested him with all the other evidence that was so strong against other third parties.
Jennifer, is there an explanation as to why this case went the way it did? And what I mean is this evidence not coming in, lawyers being taken off a case when their client wants them. I've never covered a case in Indiana before. I'll be honest with you. I've never covered a state there. You just started to permit cameras, so Court TV hasn't spent a ton of time there. It's not that we don't love you guys.
Agreed, Cryptex. And this case is just insane in the brain. Yes, it is. Insane in the membrane too. Just like the song. I do agree, sir.
Was this unusual for Indiana, or is it just unusual to me because I haven't covered cases in Indiana?
Well, look, my first job was a public defender in Atlanta. I practice in Georgia, I practice in Virginia, and I've been practicing in Indiana since 1999. And this is unusual anywhere. You know, throwing attorneys off the case. And again, there's so many suspects where the evidence is stronger pointing to those suspects than to Richard Allen. You know, nothing about this case was anything I think that any of us have ever experienced.
Now, Brad, I can't opine on my thoughts on whether or not Richard Allen did it or didn't do it because I didn't get to see the trial. Okay, I didn't get to see it. I didn't go to Indiana. Like, we had someone there, but I wasn't personally there. But what shocked me from reading court filings and from covering the case is that Richard Allen was someone who was never on the radar in this case. And the first time we heard his name is when he was arrested. Did the jury understand that? Did the jury have any idea that this was an unsolved case for years and there were a whole bunch of other people and no one was talking about Richard Allen?
Yeah. Yeah, well, Richard Allen actually was on the radar because he held himself out to law enforcement officials within just a day or two after the girls were found. So in fact, he on his own volition did seek out law enforcement and put himself on the map, so to speak. So he was on the radar, but in terms of what the jury heard, yeah, they certainly were aware that he did what he did, that he tried to assist the investigation, and that essentially that the police overlooked in their mind a tip for many, many years and discovered that later, which prompted them to get focused back on him and then ultimately arrest him. So yeah, the jury heard, I think, a pretty full version or narrative of how that all unfolded.
Andrew, you now have a legendary quote that we talk about in our newsroom all the time. Journalism. We got a clip of you storming through the courtroom, looking at a camera and saying, it's time for some journalism. Is that happening now relative to this story, to this case, from your perspective?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's a lot of tough questions that no journalists are asking the prosecution.
What are they?
For example, well, one of them is Todd Click sent what I would label as exculpatory evidence through his attorney by certified mail to the prosecutor's office. They signed for it on May 1st, 2023. And then we never knew anything about that for 4 months until the prosecution knew that we were going to ultimately find that.
And how many times do you think that happened in this case, you guys?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I know of multiple other things that happened that same way. But truly, you got to wonder how many times did they do something like that in this case? It's ridiculous, guys. It really is. How long did they hold on to any of this stuff that's coming out right now? Obviously, they could have had this stuff the whole time, never released it because it didn't fit the narrative per se. It's really saddening.
Information out. So I think one of the questions I would want somebody to ask the prosecution is, why didn't you turn that over more quickly? You know, that's, you know, there's a lot of that kind of information related to missing videos. But what happened? And there's a crime scene, a mimics crime scene image that was found on one of the third-party suspects' social media pages. That, you know, I have many friends. None of them have images of girls on a forest floor posed on their social media.
He's talking about the setup, the thing that I believe what he's talking about is the stuff that was on Holder's Facebook page, Brad Holder's Facebook page. So, which again was never brought up, never talked about, completely dismissed. All of Patrick Westfall's involvement in the things that he made comments about. What's the other guy? Elvis Fields, the stuff that stuff was never brought up. It was all dismissed. Going back to what Mom said, the animal hair never brought up, never talked about. None of this shit was ever brought into the courtroom. None of it. The jury doesn't know any of this stuff, guys, and that's the problem right there. That's the biggest part of the whole problem, I think. It's just unreal to me.
Which mimics, in large part, what the crime scene looked like. And that is missing as well. We had to drive down to Georgia to get that crime scene image, and nobody's ever explained why it's missing. And everything that seems to be missing is related to the third-party suspect, evidence. And we just haven't, nobody's bothered to ask those tough questions to the lead detective or to the people in charge of the evidence. And so that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, Andrew, I'll promise you this. If we get the prosecutors on, I'm going to ask those questions. I will. I want to thank you all. Andrew Baldwin, Jennifer Auger.
Where the hell was the evidence in Georgia?
What's that, Mike?
Where the hell was the evidence in Georgia?
I'm not sure.
He said something about they had to travel to Georgia to get the evidence.
I don't even know.
Evidence gets sent all over the place, like in Harmony Montgomery's case, when they went into the home that they were living in, not the apartment on Union Street, but the Families in Need home. I can't think of the name of it right now off the top of my head. But when they cut the ceiling out,
yeah,
they sent the physical evidence to the crime lab in South Florida.
They send them to like expert labs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it just depends on exactly. Thank you. I was eating chips. It just depends on what the evidence is, what the lab, like Dago said, what the specialists of the lab, like if they have like a certain forte that's theirs, that they're really good at examining and stuff like that, they do ship out evidence. And then
you know how like when they did in Idaho, where they sent like that the DNA stuff to Othram and stuff like stuff like that. But
and
no, Bobby, I get your.
It's usually stuff that's like, you have a lead detective or whoever's been chosen to travel with that stuff, so that way it's across the hands without any kind of contamination or anything like that.
Any custody and all that, right? Yeah, absolutely, Bobby. No, I understood your point, my friend. I absolutely agree with you too. And hopefully it'll be seen in a different light, because that's true what he says. They don't like to make jurors feel that way. That's very true. So I absolutely understand what you're saying. I'm hoping that they don't follow that same path with this situation, because of all the outlying stuff that is just unmistakably unreal and needs to be seen. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. So, Cryptic said the evidence in Georgia is that the guy having the Mick picture of.
No, I think you're talking about Mr. Steve.
Yeah.
Mr. Steve did a mimic of the whole crime scene. Like, he did a lot of work on this.
He did a lot of stuff on that case, right?
He put Mrs. Steve in a suit and drug her through the woods.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, he did a lot in this case. I don't know if that's who you're talking about or not, but
That
I
could
would
be it.
assume that this would have been like somebody that was an official that would
He
have
drug-
had or
He put
lab.
her in a suit.
Right.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
I can't see Steve making them come there to pick it up. I would imagine he
No.
would have sent it to him.
Steve travels. I mean, that's what he does. That's his
Yeah.
jam.
Right.
Did you
Yeah.
ask Mike if he put her in a suit?
Oh yeah. I was wondering what the whole deal with that was.
So Mr. Steve put Mrs. Steve in a suit, and then he drug her to see what, like, he does a lot of like testing stuff. So he drug her to see what the results would be from dragging her that distance on the same type of terrain.
No, he's not talking about Mr. Steve. You can jump. There's a link right there if you want to pop up here, Cryptex. Come on up, bud. Right there underneath you, what you said, not Mr.
Well,
Steve.
Georgia threw me off. I was like, what?
Right.
What do you speak of?
It could have just been, like I said, like another extra lab or something. But yeah, go ahead and click the link, bud, and you can pop up. Bobby says, I totally agree. This case was handled start to finish and is completely different. Yeah, 100%, bud. But like you said, is he going to get one? And I have a bad feeling. I have a solid bad feeling about this.
And we all kind of knew this was going to happen too. Look back to when, we were covering the notes of the trial, because we all know that we didn't see the trial. But look what we were all saying. What's going to come out after? Who's going to come forward? What are we going to find out? And this, that's what happens.
And as soon as they said 30 days, the gag had to sit in place for 30 days. And I knew as soon as that gag dropped, all sorts of stuff was going to start flying. And here we are. And this is the stuff. And I think they knew that. And that's why there were certain other things that were put in place too for this. So they don't seem worried, nervous. I will say though, at the one press conference, Nick the Dick there, I just don't like him. You could see how irritated he got with certain questions that were being asked. And that says a lot to me too. You know what I mean? So there's that as well.
He looked like he didn't belong around them parts.
Yeah, right. Phil said, agreed, Bobby. Though after a trial, when the jurors are informed of all the pertinent evidence that was ruled out, they would be relieved that there's a path to truth. Yeah, see, that's what I was trying to say, Bobby, what Phil just said. That, if the jurors see this, and again, if the appellate court understands that this wasn't presented to the jury, all this other information, they may see it in that form and realize it's not their fault, so we do need justice here in that sense. I don't know. I'm just making, this is a theory in my mind, but either way.
I don't think we'll ever get full justice. They let Ron Logan die.
Yeah, that's the thing right there.
I'll
And
go to my grave with that.
regardless of the fact that even if he were to come back, if they were to come back, not him, sorry. If they were to flip this all around, come back, they find him guilty of it, so he's gone. So what the hell's the point? You know what I mean? You go ahead and do that then, Tomboy. It's okay. I know you don't like him either.
I was going to say, if Ron Logan comes back, that's a whole different show. That's,
yeah.
That's a whole different show. We're taking that shit on the road.
100%. So I don't believe it's going to happen. I think that Richard is done. Richard Allen. I think he's done, folks. I do. I don't think any of this is going to be allowed as much, unless something like stupidly ridiculous comes out where there's no doubt whatsoever and you can't deny it, which is very possible with the way shit's been falling out lately. Whoop, can you hear us? Oh wait, he's not even there. Are you there, Cryptex? This is the green screen. No, it's not been into the appeal situation yet, but I don't think it's going to be allowed.
Did you make sure it was him before you pulled that up?
I couldn't. Are you able to show your face, Cryptex, backstage at all? Are you able to show your face at all? Because your camera doesn't seem to be working, bud.
Or I just make people talk.
Something, yeah.
I want to hear your voice or see your face, because
I think he's having I think he's that. It is him though. I can see the name. But I think he's having like technical issues. No, I don't think it's even going to get to the only way it's going to get to. Okay, let me rephrase all this. I do not believe that Gall is going to allow for a new trial. So in turn, the appellate's going to have to. It's going to have to roll up to the appellate court. So, are you there? Nothing. It's not working, bud. All right, let me finish this video while we're sitting here.
So much. We appreciate your valuable time. Richard Allen was convicted. That's a fact. I didn't see the trial because the judge chose to ban cameras and electronic reporting from inside the courtroom. That's another fact. The defense was barred from presenting the evidence they wanted in front of the jury. That's a fact. Did Richard Allen have a fair trial? I'll tell you what, that's now a fair question. I'm Vinnie Politan. We'll keep digging for the answers as the investigation continues.
Two absolutely separate cases, Summer, and a lot of people kind of compare the two. Bryan Kohberger, they bring Richard Allen in like he's Hannibal Lecter. 12 people surrounding him, shackled, chained, and all this stuff. And Brian walks in a three-piece Italian suit like nothing happened. You know what I mean? So you can see the differences with the two cases there. But different states, different law enforcement agencies do different things. It's just I think it's always been overkill with Richard Allen. Always. They got to make him look, in my opinion, like he's this horrible, horrible person. And if he did it, then he is. He absolutely is that horrible, horrible person. But I think it all plays into their narrative, folks, in my opinion. 100%, Phil. Gall will deny. There will be an appeal. It will work its way up to the Supreme Court. I hope that it at least happens that way so that everything can be presented. Everything can be seen. Everything can be, found out for what the truth is on that part. Bobby says that's the sad part of decades down the road after all the appeals have been completed and the real truth comes out, his life is over and families don't have justice. That's it right there. Because the way this is probably going to go, that's true. At this moment right now, there is what I call, well, it depends on how you look at it. There's justice right now for the families in their eyes, per se, because of what's happened. I think it's false justice, in my opinion, because of the way it all went down. But how long could this take, you guys? There's the question. Do you realize how long this could take?
Yeah. I mean, look how long it took them to get to where they're at now. Are they going to keep pushing it around 2, 3, 5, 7 years later?
10, 20. Richard Allen is in his 40s, mid 40s, I believe. 40, 44, 46, something like that.
Sad to say,
yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot of years left. The Patties, they're getting up there in age. They deserve to have full and final justice on this. The real thing, true justice, okay? I don't feel that they're getting it right now. Can you show your face? But there you go, bro. Okay, good stuff. Welcome. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Can't hear you. I can see you real good. And your mic is unmuted. There's just it's not connecting.
Do you have the touchy mute mic?
He dropped off. He's probably gonna retry it again. Yeah, that's how I feel. And by the time everything were to go down, Richard Allen's life is over. And they still don't have justice for the girls. It's a sad, sad truth, probably, folks. If there was a way to push it through faster, if there was a way to overturn all this in a quick period, it's just not going to happen that way, though. That's the thing that sucks so bad about this. I just don't get it. I don't.
It takes time. The wheels of justice turn at their own.
Right. And meanwhile, there could be an innocent man sitting in prison for 20, 30 years. You know what I mean? Watching his daughter grows up on her own without her father. I mean, it's just not right, guys. It's not right. I feel that because of the way the trial happened, that's why I feel so strongly that he didn't get a fair trial. If I knew for a fact that the man had everything was done right and that he was still found guilty at that point, piss on it. Burn him. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Public service announcement. If you are being allegedly charged with the murder of 2 girls, don't confess to it.
We don't know, though, Mom, that wasn't coerced. I still have issues with that, okay? Because of the guards there, the stuff that was being talked about, even the stuff that William Librado talked about, the other attorney. I'm not saying I 100% believe that was coerced. All I'm saying is with all the other whacked out stuff, he's got mental issues. We know that. He was on medications that he wasn't even diagnosed on. Stuff like that. I just have issues with that whole thing with the confession stuff. And I'm not saying that it doesn't mean he didn't do it. But even the confession, guys, he said he shot the girls. They weren't shot. He said other things that didn't make any sense in that confessions that didn't even relate to this. So that's another issue I have with that whole thing. But she's right. If you're ever accused, don't confess. That's fact. But I don't know that he was in his right mind, and I don't know that it wasn't coerced. So, there's that, and that's the issue I have with that stuff. Phil said, I've said this before, this is not about justice. This is about thwarting justice. Thank you, Phil. It is being thwarted. It needs to be thwarted. They are thwarting.
Phil for the win.
Thwarting. Say thwarting fast 3 times. Thwarting. Thwarting. Okay, so what are your final thoughts on this for tonight, Mom, Mikey? And what would you like to see happen? Or not happen?
Jeez.
What did you say?
I said, geez.
Oh, he said, geez. God,
Thank you so much, Noel, for the super sticker. God bless, dear. Say again.
I need to clean my ears out. I mean, I don't know. The whole thing was screwed up from the beginning. The investigation was screwed up from the beginning. I will go to my grave that I believe that both of them are guilty. I believe that it could have been a third party involved. I feel like the girls were totally failed by the state and by everybody that was involved in this case in multiple different ways. And one being Ron Logan getting killed, the whole crime scene photo thing. Like, I feel very strongly about this. And I know a lot of people don't agree with my opinion, but I stand on that.
I get it. Can you hear us now, Cryptex?
I can hear you well. What about you?
There we go. Bingo.
Bingo. How are you guys?
And I got to agree with Bobby that, especially in situations like this, that maybe corrections officers should have to wear body cameras. I mean, it only protects them and it protects the inmates too. That's a good idea. And I agree with that, Bobby. So what are your thoughts, Crip?
Yeah, no, I wanted to start with your comments about Georgia. I was kind of lost because I had technical problems. But just to clarify here a little bit, do you remember the picture that Brad Holder he put in his Facebook post? There was a picture mimicking the crime scene, very similar to the crime scene, the actual crime scene, right? And the thing is that the defense lawyers, they had to travel to Georgia to have the actual picture. That's the thing with Georgia. So it's nothing related with Mr. Steve or anything like that. It's that the defense lawyers, they had to travel to Georgia to have the actual crime scene mimic picture, let's say, that Brad Holder put on Facebook.
And then they couldn't even use it.
Exactly, and that's because Brad Holder, he deleted the picture on his Facebook profile, let's say.
Right.
And there was a lot of talks, because I think the defense lawyers, they had to spend like $12,000 to go to Georgia to have the picture, and there was a lot of speculation what they needed to spend a lot of money to have that picture. Anyways, but that picture is really fishy. How do you have a very similar picture of the crime scene with this guy, Brad Holder, who was connected? There was a nexus between him and the girls that were murdered, because his son, Logan Holder, he was in a relationship with Abby and also with Libby. So I don't know, man. I think this case is really fishy. Every day we learn a new thing. I think we have to investigate the investigation. That confession made by Ron Logan when he was talking about the box cutter. There's something there, and I don't know, man. Something doesn't smell good here, man. That's my point. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I think that maybe Richard Allen was really involved in the crime. Was he the killer? I don't know. But there's a lot of questions that remain unsolved here. That's just my opinion, man.
And the way everything went down, I agree with you. There's a lot of, I think we all do. There's a lot of questions that are completely unanswered. There's a lot of things that were avoided on purpose. There's a lot of things that were denied on purpose that never should have been. These things all should have been looked into. These people should have been looked into deeply. They should have all of this should have been brought up in the trial, and it wasn't allowed purposely. And 100%. I don't understand. So there's the problem. I've never seen anything like this in my life. We've all looked at many different trials and seen different court cases, so on and so forth, that out here with what we do. This one, I've never seen, and I don't think I'll ever see it again. I've never seen a judge do the things she did, and I'm not saying she did it maliciously. There could be reasons why she did the things she did, but I just have never seen these things happen this way.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same thing here for me, man. And I don't know. This case is just insane. It's insane. I think there's a lot of, I don't know, lack of transparency is the word here.
Big time.
We didn't have any material from we were not allowed to watch the process inside the court. Not even audio, nothing. Everything was so secretive. Everything we know today is because there were some YouTubers reporting from the courthouse. That's not the way. Something really fishy here. I really don't like it. And as you say, maybe there's some explanation. We don't know. But why? Why? So I don't.
And she absolutely, and I mean absolutely, would not allow even they weren't even allowed to talk about the Odinism side of this. Not to mention the third party defense, any of that, none of it at all, nothing. And I've never seen that before. And it's still, that's what makes me so leery with this. Why would you go to the extent that she went through to keep all of this out? There's got to be some solid one big reason behind all that, in my opinion. And I just don't understand it.
No, I agree with you. And I followed your channel, Dago, in regards of Barbara Hall's case. I really don't know what's your angle in the Delphi's case. So sorry if I'm interrupting the flow of your channel tonight.
No. I appreciate you joining us.
But I'm very interested in your what is your idea or your hypothesis here in this case in Delphi?
Well, I've stuck with one thing for sure with this whole thing, and it was, and I keep going back to it all the time, that there was a statement made by Idaho State Police that they believed that there was multiple people involved in this. Okay. And I believe that as well. I believe that at the very least, I have a very hard time not looking at Ron Logan. I have a very hard time not looking at Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall, Elvis Fields. All of those people, I have a very hard time not seeing them involved in this somehow. And I'll be honest with you, the only person that I have an easy time seeing not being involved is Richard Allen, because he's the only one that doesn't make sense as compared to everybody else. Do you know what I mean?
I got your point, and I agree with you. I think it's almost impossible that there was only one actor here in this crime. Think about the lack of defensive injuries. You have 2 girls that were killed, and you don't have any defensive injuries.
Right.
This is the type of crime where you should expect at least some cuts, broken fingers, broken nails,
Right.
something, but you don't have any defensive injury. This is not normal. This is not. It's impossible that only one man was the perpetrator here. And you were talking about Brad Holder and other actors. In my opinion, and this is my personal opinion in this case, I cannot understand how the clients are not involved here. So my personal theory is that the clients were really involved in this case. And I don't know if you remember that after the interrogatory of Keegan Klein at the Grissom Air Force Base, we have the search of the Wabash River. I think it was 5 or 6 weeks of search. That the cost of that search was almost $1 million. How many people were there looking for those items? Apparently, they found a knife or a phone. We don't know what they found there. But right after the search, they arrested Richard Allen. So to me, there's a connection between a potential connection. We don't have all the information here. And with the lack of transparency, we can only speculate and try to connect dots in this case. But to me, the sequence of events, Klein's interrogatory, Wabash River search, and Richard Allen's arrest, to me, there's a potential connection between Richard Allen and Keegan Klein.
And my apologies. I forgot to put Keegan in there too. That was the other person I felt that had the involvement possibility as well. So there's a whole group that looks very dirty to me. And it's very hard. A couple of them I'm very specifically looking at. And it's very hard to not look at these people, which is why I don't understand why nobody else did unless they weren't supposed to. That's the only thing I can think of. And that, to me, you know what I mean? If you're not supposed to, there's a reason behind that. So,
no, 100%.
I can't say that they're all involved. What I will say is that I think that they all have knowledge of this. That's the one thing I will say that I do truly believe.
That's my belief as well. Just when you have what's the name of this guy, Elvis Fields, talking about I don't know if the words he used was antlers or something like that, but when you see the crime scene, there were some twigs above the Abby's head.
Yes.
So even if he was not there, he had some previous knowledge about the crime. He had some communication with Brad Holder, with Brad Holder's son. I don't know, but yeah, that's a clear indication that he knew something. That's information that it was not public at the time, you know.
Just like Brad Holder.
100% with you.
Yeah, just like Brad Holder's Facebook page. To have that be the way that was, that's first off, guys, and we've all talked about this. There's no real true coincidences in true crime, folks. There's facts, okay? And that was way too ironic for me to say that that's a coincidence. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make sense. And here's what I want to know. Brad Holder, Patrick Westfall, the Kleins, Ron Logan. What links them together? There's got to be something that links them together, because there's too much. It's too ironic that they all have a tiny little piece of this, in my opinion, that fits together somewhere. There's something that links them together. And I think if that could be found out, there's the answer to the whole thing, in my opinion.
And remember that Doc Carter, he was talking about the biggest child porn investigation in the history of Indiana.
Yep.
What if there's a sesame ring in that town involving Holder, Logan, and the rest of the usual suspects here? It's not impossible, you know?
And a bunch of them guys, and Mikey knows, Mom knows. I was talking, I don't know if you had seen or heard this either, but a good handful of those people lead me to another case that I covered, the Floor 4, which I think is linked to Delphi as well. I truly do.
Yeah,
I think there's a link in there. I do.
Something fishy here, man.
Very, very much so. Very much so. And like Mom said, will we ever know the truth? I have doubts. I do have doubts. When you have people like this involved in a situation like this, typically they get away with it, okay? Because of who they know, who they're involved with. We have people involved in, the Mason situation and Nick and Brad. I mean, there's too many different connections here that just are too ironic to not be fact. You know what I mean? So it really bothers me, because I feel like, yes, at this point right now, you can say that the families have justice because somebody's been convicted, but I just feel like it's false justice, in my opinion. That's all. And that they deserve more than that.
It's not full justice if there are other actors involved here, and
Right.
there's only one behind bars. If he was actually involved in the
At
crime,
all. Right.
Let's say he was, just for the sake of the conversation. But what about the other actors? You can say that at least Keegan Klein, he's serving like 43 years in prison. Which
Right.
I don't think he's gonna serve even 20 years.
No.
In my opinion, he has a negotiation here. But what about Tony Klein? What about the Holders? People that, in my opinion, they were not fully investigated, or they were magically cleared. And as you say, we're never gonna know the whole story here, for sure.
No. It's very sad too, because when things like this happen, it just keeps that door wide open for it to happen again. When people realize, oh, I can do whatever I want and get away with it. And I think that would be the only way that these people, if they're stupid enough to do something else like this because they got away with it, that's where they'll get caught. But at that point, it's too late in some senses. Now, are they dumb enough to commit some other crime maybe that links to this? I doubt it. There's been too much pressure on those people, too much heat shown to that, and I doubt that it'll happen. But that would be something that would definitely catch them up in it.
Right.
But we also got to think about the possibility of others being involved in higher up positions too, which would explain how certain things are overlooked or pushed to the side or just ignored. You know what I mean? So there's that too. And when you have those people involved in things like this, forget
100%.
about it.
And I know that maybe I'm biased, because since the beginning of this case, I'm thinking about the Kleins. But remember the last interviews with Jerry Holman, when he was asked about the Wabash River, he said, "I cannot talk about that search or about that subject at this point." Richard Allen is already convicted for the murders. Why cannot you talk about the Wabash River search? So
Right.
again, there's something that, in my opinion, is connecting still the clients with the arrest of Richard Allen. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's just
Yeah, I don't, and that's another. I don't trust Jerry Holman. I don't
no,
trust Doug Carter. None of them. I don't trust any of them. I'm sorry.
Same here. Same
And
here, man.
it's scary. It's a scary thing because this is in Indiana specifically for the people of Indiana. Let me say the good people of Indiana. This is their entire judicial and law enforcement system. That's a scary thought to know that their possibility there is that wide range. That's a scary thing. I'm just saying it really is. Absolutely, Thunder. So yeah, no, I appreciate your input on it too. I really do, because I think a lot of us feel the same way. A lot of us that have watched this for years and, you know, seen different things, like Mom said, she'll stand on it till she goes to her grave, that she feels that Ron Logan is absolutely involved 100%. And I got to say, I agree. There's too many things that match up. But there's also the other people that have things too that make it go, how did you not look at this? You know, the comment about spitting on
the guards.
Yeah, I mean, to let that go by with it doing nothing. What is going on? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's just too much. It's too much, but we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Still a mystery. I feel that they needed to have an arrest. I don't know, maybe because Doug Carter was retiring, and that was something that he needed to put in like a medal on his chest before retiring. I need to have a conviction. I need to have an arrest. Ron Logan is already dead. He's not gonna look good if I say that Ron Logan was a Brits guy and the killer. So let's go back to the first. I don't know, 24 or 48 hours of the investigation, and magically they found that tip about Richard Allen. What about the interviews that were lost, the videotaped interviews that were lost regarding Brad Holder and the Odinist guys? Yeah, it's something that's, I don't know, man.
It's all too fishy. I agree.
Too fishy, man. Yeah,
way too fishy. Absolutely.
Anyways, man, I just wanted to pass by to say hello. I love your channel. I love everything you do, and
thank you.
I hope we can do something together, man. And thank you
Absolutely.
guys.
Absolutely. Anytime, get a hold of me. 100%. I'm grateful. I appreciate you coming by. Like Mom said, we appreciate you did that amazing video with Barbara. We really appreciate that too. Barbara's a wonderful person. We love her. Anybody that supports her, you're 100% in our corner, brother. We appreciate that so very much. I don't know, Mom, did you have anything you wanted to add, or Mikey, to any of that at all?
No, thank you for coming up and putting in your opinion.
Thank you, guys. And regarding Barbara, we are gonna continue making noises.
Yeah,
we're not gonna stop there, man. We
Absolutely.
need to have justice for Timmy, for sure.
Yep, like everybody, we always say it takes a village, and
exactly,
truly does. So thank you for everything you do. I appreciate you. We all appreciate you, and I'm grateful that you stopped up and put your input in here. And I would love, like I said, I'd love to hook up one of these days and do something together for sure.
For sure. Thank you, guys. See you.
Absolutely. Have a great night, brother.
You too, guys.
All right. Well, I think that's going to kill it for tonight, folks. That is enough. This is my third show of the day.
Yeah, it's a long day.
I think I've burnt every bit of rubber off of me. I'm done. So
that's going to get clipped.
Oh my God, Molly's already doing it. I can feel it. The vibrations are floating through. So yes. Yep. I'm sure she's got quite the compilation video so far, but I don't even care at this point. I'm burnt out. Thank you, Mikey, for joining us, brother.
Yeah, no problem.
A couple nights, and Mom, you know, it's always an honor to have you here. I appreciate you very much. And that will conclude our recap on, unless something new comes on Delphi, which I will of course keep, bringing it up, but that's it. And I should, what is tomorrow's Friday? Yeah, I should see you guys tomorrow morning at some point. It is 11:16, so we're still good. Yeah, I didn't even think to ask him where he was from. He reminds me of is it Ricardo Montalban from Fantasy Island? Remember that show?
Don't start me lying. Hell yeah, Peggy and Phil over here drooling in the chat.
Were they talking about it?
It was Phil.
Right, there it is, right there. Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what he sounds like. Thank you, Phil. So I have no idea where Ricardo Montalban's from, but that's got to be. I mean, he sounded just like him. It was crazy. I love it. Anyway, you guys are amazing. Again, Mikey, Mom, thank you so much. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Everybody in the chat, you guys are rock and roll. I appreciate you all so very much for being here tonight. Anybody else that has already taken off, I appreciate you too. Guys, don't forget to love yourselves, love each other. Don't change a thing about yourselves. You are the beautiful people, and I will see you guys on the other side. Bye-bye, everybody.
Make
See you
good
guys.
choices.
Do what Mom says. She knows what she's talking about. I'm losing my damn voice already, guys.
It was on the screen, typing at the speed of light, hunting down the shadows, bringing wrongs to right, digging deep in the data, facts sharp as a knife. With every single story, he's fighting for a life. A voice for the voiceless, he won't stay quiet. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. Streaming loud and clear, cracking cases open, hearts filled with fear. His channel's a beacon in a world gone wrong. He guides us through the chaos, a soldier so strong. The clicks and the likes, they follow his lead. With every new case, he plants a new seed. Sharing their stories, giving hope where it fades. Daniel's a warrior through the trials he waves. In a world of silence, he shouts out their names. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. From the shadows you rise, are streaming loud and clear. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. From the shadows and lawless, he won't let us fall. Bringing the truth out, answering the call. For every soul forgotten, he's here to stand tall. Daniel the genuine, he'll always give it his all. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every